Hello. Oh, I'm on the wrong scene. Golly, gosh, dang it.
Good
Uh,
going, buddy.
yep. 2 seconds. Okay. So there's that. And now I'm working on everyone else. Okay.
Good job.
Thank you.
GG, man. GG. It's okay, Kevin.
Welcome. Welcome. So I was this close to getting it all set up correctly.
I still have no idea what happened.
There was no sound on the stream.
So the way I set it up
cute.
OBS, I set up, yeah, right? I set up the visuals. I didn't set in the audio.
You worked so hard on the visuals. You were obsessed with it.
Yeah, because it was racking my brain. I wanted it to work a certain way. It wasn't working that way. I'm like, okay, let's see the alternative. And this is what I could do. And that's really it. Paperclip is never the issue. It can't be an issue. It really
is
can't
a lie. I said that earlier.
She did say that. Okay, I do apologize. Cory, do you want to showcase your podcast again?
Sure.
Insert awkward silence here.
We can talk about how I'm taking your virginity again. I'm pretty proud of it. I am from Game Pass or Pass. It's a podcast I do with my buddy Basher, known for like 12 years now, which is crazy to think about. We play Game Pass games so we can share a library, and then we either pass it on or pass on it. It's a shared library, so we're going to recommend new stuff, old stuff. Sometimes we just pick a random game, but it's kind of fun because that means if you have Game Pass, you can play it too. So, and we're going to be doing Call of Duty here soon. I'm going to make him probably play Stalker 2, as well as Inscription. So we're going to be playing those games. If you haven't played Inscription, you should go play that game. That's a spoiler. We're going to pass that one on. You should play that one. So
okay, is that still on the Game Pass?
Yeah, it's actually a pretty old game, but it just hit Xbox, the console.
Okay.
Officially, so it's on Game Pass, but it's on both of them now. Yeah. So.
Which one?
Inscription.
Oh yeah, I like that game.
Is it with the I or? Oh yeah, okay.
I have it. It's in our family.
Yeah. Sorry.
If you know nothing about that game, don't look it up. Just play it.
Yeah, just play it. Don't do anything. Just
oh no,
play
I know about it. It's my buddy was telling me about that one. Ooh.
Well, you had someone ruined it for you?
Not entirely. He didn't entirely ruin it for me. Yeah.
Halfway through, has like the best thing happened.
Best thing.
It's very Sam Barlow. If you're a Sam Barlow fan, can't think of the name right now. Immortality, Her Story, stuff like that. It's very much along those lines. So.
Gotcha. Nice. I know it's got that cartoony dark cell shade look to it. And and
it's one of those like there's a lot more going on than you think kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it kind of toys with you a little bit. Like you'll start playing it, and then like I guess it's a small spoiler, but like so one of the cards will start talking to you, like breaking the third wall kind of thing. And so that's kind of where it starts, and then you it unravels from there. So.
Oh wow.
So good.
Okay.
So good.
I'll have to check that out sometime. I mean, there, like I said, that other Minecraft game I'm going to check out. Fortnite, Minecraft, whatever, crafting, survival.
Pick it up and throw the house at the trees. Okay, check.
Yeah, just pick it up and just throw. Yeah, give it a good toss there. Also, another thing I want to do, I'm not very good with segues.
I know
we're
you're
just
not.
kind of skimming through some news and...
Kevin has more things to talk about.
Oh, we have more news to talk about here. So, XDefiant is now officially saying that they are going to be ending, what was it, June? Sometime in June? June 3rd.
June 2025.
Yep.
That's so far from now.
It is. Which, again, it's very weird that a company would allow you to still keep playing the game, even though they said, oh, we're going to cut the cable, but we're going to give you some time to contemplate your decisions. So, that is what
they must have some whales that are just buying the microtransactions, or they just want to try to recoup some of that. Because I think they're launching a new season for the last like 6 months of it. So
yes.
There's probably a battle pass and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Season 3.
Someone will buy that stuff.
Oh yeah. But at the same time, like, why? When you know it's dying, why would you still buy it?
And they're doing a refund on it.
Oh, are they really?
Yes.
Yeah.
They are doing a refund.
They're doing anybody who made purchases since November 3rd will be refunded.
So it's like, will the season pass for the last season be free? Like,
it's gotta be. I mean, they can't charge anybody for it if they're doing refunds. People
shouldn't
complain.
Yeah. So
Plus, also, why would you buy that if it's just gonna die? I mean, that seems so stupid.
Well, you don't buy it; it's
you
free.
You can say you were there.
Yeah,
I was
moment.
I was there. Who cares?
I played XDefiant, and then look at you like, what are you talking about?
That existed? They thought it was a fever dream.
The hell's XDefiant?
They look it up, and then they realize you're even stupider than you sounded.
We'll be in the nursing home. Yeah, see, little kids, XDefiant was going to be the cod killer of our time.
Right next to Hayes.
Oh my goodness.
No, I already know what I'm going to be screaming in a nursing home, and it's going to be about The Sims.
Oh, so not profanity. Gotcha.
No, it's going to be about The Sims.
Every update would break the mods.
My mods, they're broken again.
Every other day, they would keep dying.
Did I not complain about that this morning?
Yeah. And actually earlier this week or last week when there was another update.
Yeah.
Like,
screw you, EA.
Yeah. So I guess a good segue into the subject we're talking about. Nintendo Alarmo has officially been hacked. And can now fully functionally play Doom.
Does it run on Android or something? I want to know.
I think it actually does.
Or it was like cool, but I'm not paying that much for the dang thing.
No. And plus, like, I've seen how you set it up, and they're like, oh, when you hear the alarm, make sure we see your face, because it does like a sensory thing. So like, if it sees your face, it'll be like, oh, maybe we won't turn it up loud, or you try to go get it, and it's like it's a weird.
So it does it like the Google Hub does. The Google Hub, like if you turn on sleep sensing, it senses the light, and then like when you get up and you walk through a room, it senses that you're in the room.
This is facial recognition. Well, partial facial recognition. I shouldn't say full. So it's not going to be like, oh, you are Kevin. Welcome, Kevin. Like, no, that ain't going to do anything like that. Like, no HAL, 2001 thing. No. But like, it will sense like, oh, hey, here's a face. So we know you're turning around, trying to turn off the thing. Something like that.
That's still terrifying.
Yeah. No, it's still a weird thing. I'm good. But it's a gimmicky thing that's like, what can you do? Like that that PlayStation controller screen thing y'all been playing on. The what?
Portal?
Yes. Like, that's hackable.
Yeah, it's just Android, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I'm curious, like, okay, what are the boundaries that it can and cannot play? Like, what will it do? What will it not do?
Question is, will somebody put the time in to do it?
Oh, I'm sure they will.
I don't know. I have a Portal, so I can't talk, but it's just like, it's one of those things where it's like, does anybody really care about this thing?
You have a Portal and I use it more than you do.
Right. Yeah.
Well, you get more use out of it. Right. If he's playing on PlayStation, there you go. Or on the TV, dude.
Maybe I subconsciously was like, this will entertain her.
There you go. See, you were thinking
like
ahead.
A small child.
I mean,
small child. No, okay, listen. I'm short compared to you.
Yeah, everyone's short to me.
Exactly.
So I'm 6'7", so I'm kind of lurch, but so yeah, everyone like dwarfs.
A foot and like 4 inches short.
Oh yeah. So funny thing, one of my girlfriends was actually legitimately 5 foot. Like, yeah, she was
one of short. What did you have, like 20 at once?
Oh no, not at once. Yeah, I'm not that kind of guy. I'm a one woman kind of man. I'm sorry, ladies, one at a time, please.
What ladies? I'm the only one here.
No, I'm speaking in general, like in that time.
Did you just assume my gender?
I think she did just assume. Wow.
Rude.
I thought we were in 2020. We're going into 2025, Allie. Come on.
So listen, I said something racist today too and didn't realize it was racist until my co-teacher looked at me and said, dude, that's racist. And I said, bro, I didn't remember that.
Said the racist.
No, he laughed and he goes, yeah, it's right, but we don't have another term for it. So the term is actually very racist.
I'm kind of curious.
Okay, so basically...
Well, we'll talk after the podcast. I don't want to get canceled already.
No, I'm not going to say it. I'm just going to say,
okay.
I had a student, he gave something to another kid to play with, and then he wanted it back. Okay. Like, right away. So you can imagine what I called him.
Okay. Yes.
I don't. I'm still in the brain fog today, but
we'll later,
later.
A football team had to change their name recently because of it.
Yes.
The Chiefs?
Not the Chiefs. Okay.
I mean,
they did
in the ballpark, but
you're in the right area.
Okay,
but you're scooting over it.
And it. Anyways, I think I figured it out, but we're not going to discuss that right now. Oh, welcome. So yeah. So Doom has been around for quite some time.
1993, some would say.
So I'm going to segue here real quick. These two know more about Doom than I do. They've had me playing it for like a while now.
He's been forcing you playing it. So
you started it though. So
you said, "Hey, let's do Doom." I said, "Okay."
I know nothing.
No, I did say Doom, didn't I? I did say Doom.
Yes, you did.
I did.
I know nothing about Doom, except for the wee little bit I played, so I'm not going to be able to put a lot into this one for once. So I'm just going to let these two talk about it. Wow, and put in my little bits.
So the roles are finally reversing, and we can speak.
Yes, we finally have a game that Allie will shut her big mouth about.
You the whole time, and
you muted me 3 episodes ago.
I did.
And I'm still salty about it.
Oh.
And I already said I was replacing you with Tavik. Twice.
Tavik, how dare you? Why would you do this to me? I thought we had something. I thought.
Can I just say this is immensely awkward for me? This is like mommy hit daddy at the dinner table.
Welcome.
This is every other week.
Yeah. Oh man, this is our podcast. Anyway. Welcome to the Chaos Show. We really should just named it something else, and it'd probably be more fitting than this.
Thought about it.
Hey, it's your show. You can do whatever you want.
I mean, yeah.
These two are going to talk about Doom, and I'm just going to sit here and play with the thing that I found on my desk.
Oh, the little popper things. That's cool.
Yeah.
Those are fun. Well, not really that fun, but yeah.
They're fun. Anyway.
It's because you're magically taller than me now? Wait, I've always been taller. Wait, what are you talking about, Tavik? I've always been taller.
He was born that way.
I was born this way.
I hope you weren't your poor mother. Your poor mother. I
like that.
That poor woman.
It's like Alien Romulus, if you've seen that.
No.
Not really.
No,
well,
sir.
Go watch that now with that idea in your head of a very lanky person coming out of somebody.
There you go.
Oh.
There you go.
Well then.
Go watch it. You'll understand.
Fair. That is fair. I'm not.
I'm good. I've pushed people out of me. I'm good. I'm good. Been there, done that, got 2 children to prove it.
Oh man. So yes, Doom. When was the first time you played Doom, Cory?
So my Doom legacy is actually one of the first games I ever played. My father was a computer guy, so we actually had like a 486 back in 93, 94.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like, I had been exposed to like Mario Brothers and stuff like that, but like Doom was just kind of it was different. It was edgy. And even at like 3 and 4, I was like, whoa, what's that? I probably shouldn't have been, watching that at 3 or 4. But no, like I have like vivid memories of playing Doom. Like I played Doom shareware probably like 50 or 60 times, because even though we had the full version, I always played Doom shareware for some odd reason. I didn't know how to get to it. I come from the DOS days of typing in CD space Doom, or Wolf 3D. That's kind of where I started. So, but since then, like I really got into it when they did the re-release on Xbox 360. That was kind of like, hey, I know what Doom is, but that's when I was old enough to really get into it and play it full time, kind of thing.
Right on. Yeah, I'll definitely say I didn't have that early of a start. I want to say I found it in 2000 or 99, one of those two. It was when we moved. One of our neighbor kids, there you go, was playing it, and excuse me, golly. And
I don't want to get you demonetized.
I mean, I think gameplay will be fine as long as the music ain't playing. So
that's true. That's true.
So yeah, there you go. Yeah, he started playing it, and we got in trouble because he wasn't supposed to play it alone, but we still played it anyways, and it was fun. But I didn't actually get my hands on Doom until I got my own computer in like 2002 or something like that. And then I started playing with that, and then I was like, I don't like using the keyboard the way it is, and I didn't have a gamepad, so.
Yeah, it was one of those like, I come from playing on keyboard only, because I mean the original version did have mouse looking, but like back then it was not the way it was today, kind of thing.
The wheel and ball.
Yeah, and I have vivid memories of holding the Alt key to just side strafe, because that's how you did it back then. You couldn't.
Oh, I didn't know you could do
left
that.
and right turned you. Yeah, so it was. When I learned that, I was like, "Whoa, this is the revolution! I can side strafe now." But
nice. Years later, you learn something new.
Exactly.
And I always forget that secret. Oh my gosh.
He knows all of them.
I don't know about that. I'm definitely a Doom 1 over Doom 2 person. I'm sure we'll talk about Doom 2, but like, it's just a classic. I don't want to say it's a perfect video game, but it's pretty close. That original Doom to me is just a from start to finish, it's a design doc masterpiece. Like they had a set goal, they did it, and it's variable. It's got lots of different levels, different designs in it, and it all kind of culminates into something pretty special that you don't really get to see a lot of these days. Everything's broken these days. Everything comes together, and like there's low moments, there's high moments, but that original Doom, I don't know if there's too many low moments.
There really isn't. Like you said, they had a goal, they set it, and like they outperformed, I would say, with what they were given at the time. Because, the resources, I mean, we're talking Windows 95, if not
before
95?
That, yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's like what, 256 megabytes of RAM?
Probably less. It was probably closer to, it was probably 64 megs. Actually, even less. It was probably like 32. So.
Oh yeah, you're probably right on that.
Yeah. Probably didn't have, it was probably only a couple 100 megabyte hard drive too.
So. Single core processor, like, the basic of the basic. And when I first saw this, like, I instantly thought it was like, oh my God, that's like the maze on the Windows screensaver.
Right. That's what, that was Wolfenstein for me. It always reminded me of, it's just a little bit more basic. It's got those flat colors. So that was always kind of, I played Wolfenstein 3D after. So I was kind of like, this sucks. Like, this isn't Doom. But I didn't realize until years later, like, oh, it's the same people. So it kind of made sense. But yeah.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it made both of them. Yeah, Wolfenstein was kind of the precursor to Doom in many ways.
Right.
So
they walk so Doom can run, basically.
Essentially, yeah.
I liked Wolfenstein 3D.
See, I never played the original, I'll say, but I did play Return to Castle Wolfenstein. Like, I love that one. That was, I don't know, it was just fond memories.
Wolfenstein was my first video game.
Wow. I was gonna say my first video game was probably Mario Andretti's IndyCar Racing on the NES.
The question is, what did you play Wolf on PC or what did you play it on? I'm curious.
I played it on my grandmother's very old computer in the office at the construction office.
So with the floppy diskettes.
I don't even know if it was a floppy disk. I had to type something in to get it to come up.
Yeah.
So it was already
DIR,
installed.
Yeah.
Sorry.
DIR space R or something like that.
Yeah, and then every time my mom came in the room, I'd have to quickly like get out of it. She couldn't see that I was playing it again.
Trying to bring it up right now in a command. Oh, that is a real command. Look at that.
Oh yeah, DIR. Yeah, that's a directory.
Yeah.
I don't know much about commands, but I know that much.
Oh man. Anyways,
is he trying to get it to work?
I'm going through my music directory now.
Oh, nice.
It's bringing back my commands of trying to like. I had to do some work in Linux not too long ago, and I'm like, this is dumb.
Oh yeah.
We need to. I'm glad we moved away from this, but yeah.
Yeah, funny enough, I actually need to relearn Linux again because I need it for a Minecraft server I'm going to be starting up. So,
no,
that'll be fun. I know Allie doesn't care. I'm not inviting you, Allie. You're not invited.
That's one party I'm not going to be sad to miss out on.
Well, that's rude.
She's always like that.
I am. I'm always like that.
She is. Every podcast, she used up all her nice days. So
I explained to you the nice days. Okay.
Or you can still see my screen. Oops.
Oh yeah.
It was yesterday was the nice day.
Wait, I thought what?
One Thursday every month.
That was yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh man, I ruined it. I wasted it. Oh man. You didn't seem nice. Just saying. You didn't seem nice that day.
I was nice to some people. Anyway, go on.
Fair, I guess. Dang. Yeah.
The original Doom for me, as well as like something as I've gotten older, to get back on track, you children. The Doom mod scene is actually still kind of crazy. Like the most recent version of the re-release of Doom and Doom 2, they've actually implemented some of the mods, but like that was something that I did in my like mid-20s, discovering Doom and mods, and just like there's thousands and thousands of maps out there, and it's I've got vivid memories of loading up. I've got an Android phone that just has Doom on it, and since it's Doom and it's so easy to inject mods and stuff into it, and it's cool that from 1994 people are still into it, and that just sort of tells you its history. As well as just how good it is. Like, it's just the core mechanics are just so good that people are still making content for it.
Well,
so,
yeah,
and
it's like a cult classic. It's what started gaming in general.
But it's transcended even like Mario in some ways. Like, they still make Mario games, but nobody really plays that original Mario and still makes content for it.
Right.
It's just, there's just a purity to it that is just, you just don't get it that much anymore. I'm a retro gamer kind of guy. Like, I like simplistic stuff. And so it's kind of that perfect balance between simple, but as well as complex. You can do a lot of things with the engine, even to this day. So it's just such a, you won't ever get a moment in time like that probably again. So
it's that thing that you were saying earlier, just being there in the moment, just to say you were there.
Yeah, seeing it transcend and become what it is it's cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. Like even like the soundtrack.
Was for sure. Yeah, even though it's completely ripped from Guns N' Roses or something like that. But hey, I didn't know that till I was in my 20s. So in my head, it was all original.
Right. For us growing up, we didn't know any better, and actually, nobody probably did until like you said, sometime in 2000s.
Yeah.
Before the internet came around and said, "Oh, this is where it actually came from." So,
by the way, they completely ripped all this music.
But it was iconic. That's probably why it was iconic for.
Yeah, E1M1 is definitely a, if any music or rhythm based game I'm like, do they have E1M1? There's usually something, whether it's Clone Hero or what's the Beat Saber, something like that. It's like,
Beat
you got to play
Guitar
E1M1.
Hero. Yeah.
Yep.
All of them. DDR, ITG.
Yep.
Stepmania. Well, they're all the same.
And that was
essentially the same.
On the video there. That was like one of like the coolest. Like it blew my mind as a kid. Is when come on, you can do it. Is when the demons start fighting each other. That's still just one of like the smallest touches. Like right there, they were fighting.
Oh
each other.
yeah.
Like you don't even get that in modern games. Like enemies bumping into each other. It's just like they thought about a lot of those things, and it's just smart. And they still don't do like they actually do it in Doom Eternal, believe it or not.
Do they?
Which is a nice little touch. Yeah, it's especially at the beginning because the imps are kind of like notorious for being kind of like in your face, but they will definitely start fighting each other too. And it's a cool little callback. So just hit myself in the face.
That's fine. So far I haven't knocked anything off my desk yet, so I think I'm on a good streak. I've been two podcasts so far without doing that, so you're good.
Yeah, I know. I haven't been able to add a check mark to my list.
Good. Yeah, I've only played a brief moment of Doom 2. I haven't played a whole lot of Doom 2 to actually say like, oh, the comparisons between Doom 1 and Doom 2. But I know not graphically saying not much has really changed. But I know musically that kind of changed brief moment. I know gameplay briefly changed it again. It's an old system. So like, obviously the levels changed. But like, so what all changed between Doom 1 and Doom 2?
There was a modest upgrade to the engine, but it really wasn't much. But the main thing is that they kind of designed Doom 2 in a different way. It's designed by 3 different people, the levels. So the first game had 3 different episodes, whereas Doom 2 is just a set of 32 levels, kind of one. You just kind of play through all of them, but they all have a distinct. What's the word I want to say? They have a distinct feel to them. But part of the big technology change in Doom 2 was open levels. So there's like the city section of Doom 2. It's like level 14 to like 21 or something. They're just vast. They're massive open levels. And that's the technology just couldn't do that in the original one. But it's a love it or hate it kind of thing. I can't stand those levels actually. I hate the city levels. I don't remember which one is which in terms of which designer did which. Some people do know. Wow. But yeah, this is an instance of one of those levels of it's just so large, and they had more layers in it, as well as the what's the word I want to use? I don't say layers, but the design of the models of them were vertical more, so they could also make them vertical more. So it was just part of it is they were messing with the technology, and I think that actually is where either you're going to love it or hate it kind of thing. Sometimes they just did stuff for the sake of doing stuff. It's like, hey, we could make this giant level, so we're going to make this level giant. And that's not Doom players are usually brought into 2 people. It's either action people or puzzle people. I'm far more an action person. I don't want to be running around for 20 minutes to try to find this door that I can't see. That's not me. But that was kind of the big thing. But as well as the double barrel shotgun, that was a big.
Oh yeah, that was the big
addition. Yeah. So the Doom shotgun is obviously iconic. So
the double barrel super shotgun.
Yeah, Doom 2 is a divisive one for a lot of people, but some people just absolutely love it. So it's not my favorite by far. It's definitely better than Final Doom. Final Doom is not. I don't really like Final Doom honestly, but I still will play Doom 2 from time to time just because it does have some really strong levels in there. They had some new enemies, like right there, the Archfiles. That was a big one too.
Oh yeah.
But they also introduced the Chain Gunners, and those are like notorious for being complete jerks. And so while it added really cool stuff like the Archfile and the Mancubus, the Chain Gunners, they're just hit scan enemies. They just scan you and they'll hit you from across the map, and it's just like that's not fun. So I'm not a huge fan. There's also like the Pain Elemental who just spits out lost souls, and lost souls drive me nuts. So.
Oh yeah, they're
I can say that for sure. They drive him nuts.
Love the lost souls.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, fair. I didn't know if it was lost souls or the thing that's spitting them out.
Right there they go.
All of it.
Technically.
All of
Both
it.
them, yeah.
I was gonna say if a
Pain
lost soul's
yeah.
coming out of it, he hates it.
Yeah, the pain elemental in Doom 2 is like that's like my ultimate kryptonite. Like I see those things and I just freak out.
Huh.
There's a strategy to them. Basically, if you keep a little bit of distance between you, they won't fire the lost souls. But when you kill them, they 2 lost souls pop out of them basically. And if you're standing right in front of it, they'll attack you and all that. It always throws me off and it drives me nuts. So.
See, I was seeing Doom and Doom, the Doom games at itself, like you said, a run and gun, just kill everything that moves. So as far as puzzles go, it was very minimal, I'll say. But to have that built in, like enemies shooting enemies, like you said, a strategy of being at a certain distance and doing it that way. Like I never really seen Doom in that sort of aspect. Like it's kind of the lowbrow, but
yeah, there's a strategy to it, and it's one of those. Again, it reminds me of like game design of Mega Man X is a huge game of mine too. But the intro level to Mega Man X is like one of the best game design things I've ever seen. And Doom sort of teaches you that the same way as you start picking up stuff without even realizing it. And it's stuff like that of just like, hey, if I stand here, then this guy doesn't hit me as much, and kind of like Caco Demon, I need to get some space, Imps, I need to get some space and stuff like that. It's got a design language to it that you pick up automatically. I don't think it's as strong as like Mega Man X in terms of that, but it's also one of the only games that I know of that when you actually change the difficulty, like it actually adds into enemies. It will add in different types of enemies. It'll actually rotate enemies in and out. So sometimes where you'll see imps, instead you'll see a Caco Demon or something like that. So it definitely like it gives you a progression too of, hey, I started out on easy, but I'm going to go play, hard now, ultra violent, and it's a completely different game now. So it's got a cool progression that you just don't see that much anymore. Typically, medium or hard is like, hey, they hit harder, and that's usually it.
Yeah,
veteran on Call of Duty just means they never miss.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Huh. More things I didn't know about. Wow. Because I'll admit it, I stayed on the easier levels of Doom and just so I could play the game, just enjoy it. But that's cool. I
have a method. Too. Yeah, I have a method where typically I'll load up a mod and I'll actually put on God mode just to kind of figure out where everything is, and then I'll go play it on ultraviolent so that way I kind of know what I'm looking for. Because what drives me nuts is when I can't find something, or like I'm looking for something and I fall in like a pit, or I fall, there's still some BS in Doom that modders love to create choke points or create unwinnable situations, and that drives me nuts. But yeah, that was kind of like throw on God mode, figure the game out, and then go back and play it on ultraviolent, and then you kind of you're putting your skills to the test kind of thing. So.
So speaking of mods, like what were your favorite mods for Doom 1 and 2? Or like
I'm definitely a Brutal Doom person. Yeah, Brutal Doom is nuts. Have you seen Brutal Doom?
I played Brutal Doom, yes. I quite enjoy it.
If you haven't seen Brutal Doom, yeah. Brutal Doom is it's a hilarious mod just because it's in a way like if you played Doom 2016, it's kind of a modern. It's kind of like if they had made Doom 2016 style back then, it's probably would have been pretty similar. But it also completely breaks the game. Like it takes out a lot of like the strategy, but it's hilarious, because that shotgun, it's just it literally blows things apart. It's fun to play stuff that you've already played in Brutal Doom, and it's a very creative thing that has definitely taken on a life of its own. That's like the number one thing that happens whenever Doom gets ported to something. It's like, can I play Brutal Doom? Can I play that? So, right. And unfortunately you can't yet on the new version. Someone will figure it out, but they haven't yet. Yeah. So
like, yeah, it's Brutal Doom's kind of got its staple of mods as far as what do you do the mod? First suggestion, Brutal Doom or GZ Doom, just to be able to use your mouse, modernize it.
There's also Brutal Wolfenstein if you've never seen that.
I've never seen that. No.
Yeah, it's pretty cool actually. So. But yeah, typically a lot of the better ones were typically map packs versus like actual mods. So some of the best ones were like Alien Doom, Doom the Way It Did, which was the original Doom had a pretty deliberate design to where the first episode only introduced so many enemy types, and then in episode 2 and 3 they introduced more. And there's this team out there that actually did it's called Doom the way it did, and they actually follow the exact same design language as those games. So if you're like me and like Doom 1 is just like from start to finish is just I love the progression of that game, and they made basically 2 different packs. So there's 8 different episodes of specifically how they did it. So even in the first episode, they only limit you to those enemy types. And in the second episode, they even go down to like what level they introduce the cacodemons in E2 M1. They introduced the cacodemon in E2 M1. Like they specifically followed the same design language, but just made new maps for it. That's one that I go back to quite a bit, just because it's just so it gets those nostalgic feelings basically.
Nice.
And then then Sigil is when not John Carmack. Why am I blanking on his name? The other guy. What the heck? John Romero.
Oh, Romero,
John Romero actually, he returned to make 2 map packs or 2 episodes for Doom, not too long ago in like 2017. He did Sigil 1.
Yeah.
And then I think it was like 2 years ago actually. I remember he did Sigil 2. So that's just kind of like, that's just cool to see the original creator kind of come back and sort of make something for it. One of the original creators, and
it shows
they're good,
shows
but
there's
they're
still
hard.
love there.
So. Oh, for sure, yeah. So, and if you like the dev stories, you should definitely read Masters of Doom. Like it gives a breakdown of just a lot of the, not just Doom, but the way that like what was on their mind, why they created the things that they did, why the technology was the way it was. And it's pretty cool to see what their mind is working, because John Carmack is just like a genius, and like he speaks and you can't even understand him half the time, but that book breaks it down to sort of understand what he was thinking, kind of thing. So
neat.
Alien Doom is actually pretty good too if you're an Aliens fan. So.
Not really. I never got into that series, but I always go to, was it moddatabase.com or .net or whatever. I was kind of just scroll through, see what they got. They got, Simpsons, Mario, all that weird, funky stuff, and then they got the cheesy ones like Big Head Mode, or then you got like the Uber multi-quad ultimate shotgun that shoots like 25 barrels all at once. Like it
literally has 25 barrels on it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the animation is just lining them up and then just throwing the shells in there, and it's stupid. But no, I really, those mods are fun.
And it's like Chex Quest is one that I really love. Like I remember Chex Quest.
Oh my God.
At the time I had no idea it was a Doom game, but I remember getting, the box of Chex that had it in there, and later in life discovering that was literally just a Doom clone kind of blew my mind.
That's another, I forgot about that. Shoot.
Yeah.
I never played that actually, but I remember the commercial. I remember seeing the box, but we were never able to get it.
I might even still have that original disc somewhere. I might, and there's actually the team. They actually made a Chex Quest 2 and 3 as well, and it's
really?
It's not that old. Yeah, Chex Quest 3 is only a couple years old, but that was it showed the versatility of that engine, and it also spawned stuff like Dark Forces. That was a Doom clone technically. It wasn't built in the Doom engine, but they built it specifically for it. But Turok and stuff like that were also Doom clones.
Wait, Turok on the 64?
Yeah, it's technically a Doom clone. Yeah.
Intriguing. Huh. What?
You just stopped.
Well, yeah, because you just said you just found something.
No, I said, did you just find something out?
Yeah. I did actually.
And there actually is a complete conversion for Doom that turns it into Turok. It's actually pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah.
What was what's that one called?
I think it's just Turok Doom, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Fair.
Straight to the point.
Yeah. I need to turn that off.
I'm someone that I like Turok, but I'm not I like the original Turok quite a bit. 2 and 3 are okay, but
I never got into the other ones. I mainly just played the crap out of Turok 1 on the original 64 for a long time. I have fond
Fog
memories
and
of
all.
that one. Yeah. Oh my god, yeah. Actually, when I found out they released Turok 1 and 2 on Steam back in 2017, 2016, something like that. Like, it was only like $5. I'm like, oh, that's mine. I'm totally buying that.
Yeah, those remakes that Night Dive did are actually pretty good. The Night Dive is they've clearly got that down, that engine, the Kex engine. It's pretty incredible. But yeah, that's gonna be the best those games will ever be. So there's also a pretty famous if you're that's what I want to use here. If you're into weird stuff and like weird mods about sort of like subverting expectations for Doom, you should look up My House. It's somebody made so I'm trying to think. Typically, like a Doom mod is like under a megabyte. Like the Doom engine is just very old and it's very small. Like the entire Doom game can be, it's on a couple floppy disks. It's like 4 to 5 megabytes. This mod itself is like 13 to 14 megabytes just in itself. So it does a lot of really unique and crazy things that you just wouldn't think is possible in the engine. But it starts out as kind of it's like a creepypasta thing to where it's like this guy woke up one day and all of a sudden this mod was on his computer and it was built after it looked like his house that he grew up in. And so when you go into it, it starts kind of messing with your head and stuff like that. It's very like PT-esque and stuff like that.
That's creepy. There's a lot of games that do that.
Yeah.
Like indie horror games.
Yeah, from an engine standpoint, it was just really cool because it did a lot of things that people didn't know the engine could do. And I don't know if this is just part of the lore or not, but as far as I know, it's made by a modder that never, he wasn't like a popular modder. He just kind of showed up one day with this magic mod and just kind of dropped it and left.
I was just saying he fade into the distance.
Yeah, basically. So it's probably another modder under a pseudonym or whatever, but it just adds, it adds to the lore of it. So, but yeah, like if you look up like the playthroughs of it, they're usually a couple hours long kind of thing. And it's pretty unique.
Yeah, I found was it Doom World talking about it?
Yeah. It's not that old either. It's only a couple years old. It kind of came out of, I mean, I guess I think it was probably a COVID project now that I ever think about it, because I think it came out in like 2020, 2021 kind of thing.
I could see that, yeah.
Yeah.
There's actually one. I don't know if you've heard of it. I think it's called Doom Infinite.
Or it doesn't ring a bell.
So it's a roguelike Doom. It just makes Doom a roguelike.
I heard about this project, but I never followed it. But no,
I'm pretty sure
it looked
Doom
cool
Infinite.
when they showed it the first time.
I actually played Doom Infinite. I played like a little bit of the intro. Like it was still in development at the time. But I played it and I was like, oh, this is kind of neat. Like there's a lot more to like there we go. Yeah, there's a lot to it. And I'm starting to get into more roguelites the older I get. So
that's my bread and butter. So it's anything that's I played like Zelda randomizer and stuff like that. So somebody was making a Doom randomizer too. That might have been what this turned into actually, but I don't know what happened to that project. Yeah,
I was gonna say because I know my brother. He's all into the izakais and he's all into the roguelites. And
yeah, it's definitely becoming like my obsession because it's like easy to pick up. Like when I first played Hades, it was like, okay, I get it now. Like it took me a while. Everyone's got the one that clicks for them, and a lot of people it's Hades, and it was for me too.
Okay, mine was Risk of Rain 2.
Yeah, I like Risk of Rain.
I don't know why. I just give me a weekend, and like I started to like understanding. I'm like, oh, I need this to match with that. I suck at magic cards. I can't stack worth a crap. But like, give me a roguelike, and I'll be fine. I'll figure it out.
But, for me, Hades had that perfect like every run could be successful. You just had to know how to do it, and that's where roguelikes really get. That's when they click for me. Is like I want every run to feel like I can actually do this if I'm good enough.
Mm-hmm.
So,
sorry, I'm just
Dreamscaper. You never
by
played
this.
that? Yeah.
What's up?
Dreamscaper, if you've never played that, that's a very underrated roguelike in my opinion.
I may have heard it, but it doesn't recognize. I'm curious now. We're going on so many tangents. Oh, he's got a big giant sword. Sold.
This is not Dreamscaper. You lie. Oh, you can still see my screen, can't you?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The one I'm looking at, dude's got like a big giant sword kind of looking thing.
Yeah, I guess that could have been it now that I think about it, because it does go places. I just didn't recognize it, but
Oh, okay.
This is more.
Yeah, that's the same one I'm looking at.
Okay. It's got like if you're a Persona player, to where like it's got like relationships or whatever you want to call them, or like a Fire Emblem thing where it's like you get your, I got to make friends with this person and then I'll get bonuses and stuff. But it's completely off topic and random. But that is one of the best roguelikes I've ever played that nobody talks about. So
that's fine. We're all about just hanging out. This is a chill stream. We gotta get off a tangent. It happens. Meh.
Oh, did she glitch out over there?
I think she did glitch out a little bit, yeah. It finally started kicking in. So okay. So
there is, yeah, to wrap up like the original ones, there is Final Doom, and Final Doom had the Plutonium Experiment and Evolution or TNT Evolution, and those were just like, Doom went through a really weird phase where when it got really popular, like, you know, they released the source code for it, so people were just making stuff. And TNT is not, it literally stands for the new technology. It was similar to Doom 2 where they just had new technology and they just wanted to make stuff with it. And so a lot of the levels are just very kind of like, they're just not thought out very well. And then Plutonium is it's a pretty good pack, but it's also ridiculously difficult. Like ridiculously difficult. If you play it on ultraviolent, like it's unfair. You know, it's to the point where people got so good at Doom, they're like, we're gonna make something that really upsets you, kind of thing. And it's
so
not,
like the ROM hacks for a Super Mario world.
Yeah, it's not quite to that level, but it's pretty close. Yeah, like it's not like Kaizo Mario to where it's like, hey, you have to master your skills, but it's like it's more of you have to know when to fight, when to run, because like they literally don't give you enough ammo. And so it's I don't like stuff like that. I'm like, you give me enough ammo, and as long as I'm shooting well, you know, then I feel like I should be rewarded. But it's worth playing Plutonium, but Final Doom or Evolution, those are ones I didn't get to those until very later in life. Final Doom is also a weird one to where like it came out, like it's an official Doom product, but it is not it's not made by id. It's kind of made by some third parties and stuff like that. So, but, and then if you're curious, there's the SNES port of Doom, which is terrible. But it was a red cartridge, so red cartridges are cool.
I did see that one, yeah. I actually
played. Your favorite color is red.
That's you're not wrong, but it's like that Maximum Carnage is like, you just look at those cartridges, you're like, they're red. I want that.
Oh, that's right. Carnage was red.
They're different. Yeah. And then actually the PlayStation version of Doom is actually really solid too.
That's the one port I've never played yet, honestly.
Yeah, that one, it's got its own soundtrack, it's got its own look. The atmosphere is actually really cool, and it's probably the only port of that era, because there was also like Saturn Doom, which is absolutely terrible, Sega 32X Doom, which is also terrible.
It wasn't bad, but yeah, it wasn't that good.
Yeah, Jaguar Doom is kind of the most famous one. It's the closest thing they got to like the quote PC version of Doom. Without actually achieving it, but there's also no music. But it's considering it also was only on a D-pad, like it's faithful enough to where if you didn't have a PC at the time, like you could kind of see what people were talking about. but it's got its own look to it, and it used the technology in a way that where when consoles couldn't do some of the stuff that the PC version could, and it got pretty close. But then actually, so a lot of versions of the Saturn port and the PlayStation port, and I think which one am I forgetting? There's one more I'm forgetting. I can't remember. They actually based all of it on the Jaguar code. The Jaguar code ended up being like the most like prominent code that people ended up using. So I think it's I think it was Saturn. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that I was gonna suggest like if the other port was a 64, but that's a whole different game.
Yeah, it's a whole different ball game. Yeah, it's a pretty cool story actually. But yeah, but it's. Yeah. If you're like me and you're just like we were talking about earlier, it's like, can it run Doom? You know, it's such a fascinating thing to see how many different companies tried to get Doom. Like the SNES Doom is ultimately like the one. It's just like, at what cost, you know, did it? Should they have done it? Like, you know, it's the meme. You know, the scientists didn't think. You know, they didn't ask if they should. They asked if they could, but not if they should. And SNES Doom is definitely that. That's an ugly game. It's a very ugly game. So.
I mean, I was just looking at the video you were playing. Like that was heavily pixelated. Which one was that one on?
That was Jaguar. This is SNES Doom.
Huh.
So flat.
Yeah.
That's all they could do. So again, and it's what's also interesting is like to save on memory as well as cartridge size. There's the demons can't turn around. Because they didn't have enough space on the cartridge to have the I don't say the pictures, I can't think of the word now, but like it wasn't textures. They didn't use textures back then.
Yeah,
but they just basically didn't have enough space to put the pictures of the back of the demons on the cartridge. So that was kind of one way they got around it is they can only face you. So that's why if you ever see when they're fighting enemies, they will always be facing you, and you will never see their backs. So
golly.
Yeah, that's a pretty ugly.
The other port was on Game Boy Advance.
Ah, yeah, that's the one I was forgetting. Yeah,
the horrible one.
Pretty faithful actually. It's a decent. It's decent. It's better than you would expect it to be, but it has the shoulder buttons too, and so that was actually a fun way to strafe when you couldn't strafe in other versions, but. Yeah, no, I've played quite a bit of SNES Doom, and it's as bad as it looks. Like it controls like crap. It runs at like 8 frames a second. So.
Yeah, I can say I've never played this. Owning the system at the time, never once touched it. So probably saved myself some time. Although I did play the Sega one, so.
You're lucky. Yeah, you're lucky. And then there's Saturn Doom here. Oh, that's Super Nintendo. Oh, that's the 3DO. That's what I couldn't remember. So yeah, the 3DO. The story about that one is that they hadn't even started the port of it, and they were advertising it. So the CEO of 3DO is saying, "Hey, we've got Doom, and it's going to be incredible," and they hadn't even started the port. And so I think it was 2 or 3 months they were given. One person, they contracted one woman to do it. I don't remember her name. And she was given like 65 days to port Doom. And that's the best she came up with basically this is what you're going to get.
on the 3DO system?
Yeah, on the 3DO. Yeah.
Oh,
so it's an absolutely terrible version of the game. But again, it's the 3DO is its own story, but it's one of those stories of just like how horribly ran that whole console launch was and it's, yeah, we got Doom running. It's going to be great. And they literally hadn't started it yet. So
it's like the Doom races.
Yeah, basically.
Who can port it the quickest and the best? Not in 65 days, apparently. Golly.
That kind of closes out the original Doom. And then it gets kind of, like you said, Doom 64 is actually kind of a unique story too, because obviously it was on the 64. Right. But it's its own thing. And it really didn't get, in my opinion, the respect that it deserves until Doom Eternal, because it was stuck on 64 until that time. And then it finally got its own port and all that fun stuff. But Allie has played a lot of Doom 64, so I'm curious how she feels about it.
Yes.
I don't like it.
Oh my God, get out of here.
I don't like it. It's a lot of puzzles and I got stuck a lot. And yeah. I did like the fact that I could go around and like have really cool guns and shoot people, though. That was kind of cool.
Give her a gun, she'll shoot.
No, that one that shoots the green beam that I always accidentally get myself at, but
the BFG?
Yeah.
BFG.
Yeah, I killed myself with that twice.
Oh my god.
No, you're thinking the rocket launcher.
No, I did that with the rocket launcher too. I know
Fair.
I killed myself with the BFG because I literally just did it tonight when I was playing the full.
Oh jeez.
I don't know how I did it, okay?
This level, I like the design of this level so much. Like right there with the lights, like kind of descended in a row. Like I'm very much a design kind of guy. So like I like what you were saying earlier, how Doom teaches you kind of how to play the game. I was kind of subtly noticing that within like the first two levels, like how to go over here. Oh, you just run and you get the button across the platform, and then
I remember this level.
So on and so forth. So like it was really, really well. I loved how there's a lot of mechanics that were being used in 64 that you couldn't do in the first two Dooms.
Yeah, what's actually incredible that people usually don't know is it actually is built on the original foundation of the Doom engine. It doesn't run its own code or anything. It's built on the engine, but it's completely unique. Like they did completely different monster textures. The levels are not recycled at all. They actually took some of the sound effects from PlayStation Doom for it, but it was one of those things where I don't know if at the time, like, I mean, I had a 64, but I did not play Doom 64 at the time. I think a lot of people just thought it was Doom. It was just a port of Doom, but it's not. It's its own complete and unique thing. Now, it's got its issues for sure. Like, this particular video looks actually a lot better, but back then we had CRTs and you could not see anything. Like, that's not an exaggeration. It was the darkest game you've ever played. And then as time went on and there's a team out there that did Doom 64 EX, which is, it's not Doom 64, but it's basically a recreation of Doom 64 in GZ Doom. And that was, I think, how a lot of people discovered it. And it boosted all the lights. It made it playable in some ways. And then it was stuck there. But then the re-release Night Dive did for Doom 64 for Doom Eternal, it kind of got its resurgence, and it's a really solid game. Like I think it's vastly underrated, and it's not perfect. Like it doesn't have a lot of the word I want to say here. The levels are not super unique in terms of design. Like it gets a little trolly, and it kind of starts putting you in situations that are not easy. But also due to cartridge space and stuff like that, they also don't have nearly as many monsters.
Right.
So that's why like the Nightmare Imp, which is a new version of the Imp, is actually just the Imp, but it's more transparent. So they're able to recycle some of that content and for cartridge size and stuff like that. So it's missing a little bit of the variety of the enemy count and stuff like that. But it's an officially licensed Doom game that was not made by id, that is completely unique and did their own thing. And that's where it's weird that it exists, and it's weird that it's as good as it is. You just don't see that. So
yeah,
I'm not saying it's a bad game. I'm saying I got confused by the puzzles.
No, it's definitely puzzly, and it has a weird thing where like the first half of the levels are kind of the trek through them is pretty linear. It's like, okay, they get kind of more difficult and it kind of teaches. And then the second half is a little Doom 2-ish where it's just like, hey, we just kind of had this idea. Like there's one level that's just a spiral, and it's like, it's just a spiral, and you just kind of go down it and you keep going down it. And then it's like the level's over. You're like, wait, what? Like it's got just kind of some unique things in it that are kind of just like, I don't understand why this exists sort of thing, but they were probably just trying to fill out the levels too, of just like, we need more levels.
Yeah.
So
I know it's like one of the earlier levels. I don't know which one specifically, but it felt very, very short. Like, you just shoot everyone and then you just turn a corner and it's like, oh, it's done. It's like, that was it. It's kind of bland compared to the one before, like But no, I definitely, I didn't know this was not by id. Like, oh my gosh. Huh.
Yeah, they've supplied, if I remember correctly, they supplied the engine for obvious reasons, but the source code, obviously, I think the source code was already out by then, but I believe Midway did it actually.
I think you're right on that one, actually.
Yeah.
That
it's
sounds
developed
right.
by Midway Games, San Diego. So, and then, it doesn't have, I don't believe there was any of the original creators on it. But I know they took the Doom engine and they ported it to N64, and I think they actually ended up using that work for the Quake engine too, eventually on Quake 2. It's a different engine, but they kind of use the bones of it. But that's the other part, is like it's not its own engine. It's literally the Doom engine from PC, and they ported it just to work on 64 and then built something with it. So
it's like giving it more space, more breathing room, and it's like, this is what you can do with that engine. It's like,
right. It's so versatile even years later. So
yeah, that's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
See, I thought it was its own thing, like engine wise and everything, because like it was very similar, but something felt different. But that makes more sense now that it's the same engine. Just give it more play space, and there you go.
Yeah, and it's actually the first Doom to actually use 3D polygons as well. All the enemies are actually they're polygons, and they are 3D. Well, even though they look kind of sprite, but if you look at the I can't think of the name right now. The Pinky Demon is kind of the most obvious one of like, oh no, this is actually a 3D model. And that was it was new for the time, but 3D was kind of the big thing on the N64, Mario 64 3D. So, but it was still a first person shooter. So it kind of went under the radar for that reason of it's 3D, but nobody really cared.
So here's another question though. Like, is it like a 3D render? Is it a sprite of the 3D render, like what they did with Mario Kart 64?
No, they're full 3D models.
So. Dang, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, and you're making me second guess myself now, but I believe because it's a polygon, it's a true 3D polygon, but I believe when they die, like the carcasses, those are sprites. I don't think those, to save on like memory and to save on power, the carcasses stay there, but they're sprites when they die, so that way it just frees up RAM basically. So
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a really cool game. Yeah, it's a really cool, unique game that it's got a cool story, and it doesn't get a lot of love just because it was kind of trapped on N64 for a very long time. So
yeah, again, like a small following loved it enough that cool, but it just never, like you said, never got the popularity as the other games did. But
and then we move on to Doom 3, which is...
I was going to ask, like, is there any others between that and 3? Or was that it?
Technically, I think Doom RPG came out before Doom 3.
RPG?
Yeah, there is a Doom. There's an official Doom RPG, yeah.
I need to know. I need to see this now.
Yeah, it's actually solid. It's really good. It came out on... I think it was built on JavaScript, if I remember correctly. But no, it's a full-on Doom RPG, and it's really solid actually. It's God, it came out on like Symbian, I think, on Nokia phones way back in the day, and then
I was going to say this looks like
that. Yeah, it got ported to the iPhone at one point, and then I think you can actually still get it on one. I think you can get Doom RPG 2 on the iPhone or the App Store, or it might have been recently they got killed or something like that. But it got ported quite a few times, and then it got kind of lost to the ether. It's a Wolfenstein enemy actually. There's a Wolfenstein RPG too.
I'd play that.
But yeah, no, it's got full tech support. It's got, there's an actual story here, and it's not quite like turn-based in terms of like a Final Fantasy, but it's pretty close. But yeah, there's different passcodes and stuff, and in some ways it actually was a precursor to some of the stuff in Doom 3.
I was just going to say,
yeah, adding, you know, GUIs and passcodes and stuff like that. But it's a cool little game if you've never played it. I believe it actually did make this entirely too. I think it was an in-house project, and it was just kind of a unique thing. John Carmack is a big proponent of new platforms. So as cell phones were kind of becoming big and new, this is what they came up with. So,
that's dope.
Yeah, there's you can play it modern. Somebody finally, I can't remember what I don't think it's GZ Doom, but it was kind of trapped. Like you could emulate it for the longest time, but somebody finally ported it to where you can actually play it on a modern system pretty easily. So if you're into weird stuff like that, it's a pretty unique game. So
I could definitely see what we mean, that it's like a pseudo turn-based kind of style. I kind of see that now.
Yeah, you can see even the way he's moving. It's grid based, so you kind of move one space at a time. I don't exactly remember how the attacking works, but it's definitely like turn-based where you shoot. But I thought there was a menu that came up here, but maybe I'm misremembering. I don't remember now. But it's I'm trying to find the release date on it. I can't remember. I just don't remember if it came out before or after Doom 3.
Well, let's see what the Wikipedia
2005, so it would have been after. So
after, yeah. So speaking of,
wait,
yeah, Doom. Wait, yeah, when did Doom 3 came out?
2004. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't too long, but yeah. So.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they were probably in development at around the same time, but
probably, yeah.
Doom 3 got released prior. But speaking of Doom 3, like, I feel like that's just kind of like a remake of Doom 1, just like a retelling.
Yeah, Doom 3 is an experience.
I loved it.
Yeah, it's such a story in many ways more than it is a game. At the time, like I remember when I saw the cover of, God, it must have been EGM of Doom 3. You know, like back then you didn't get, the internet didn't really exist yet. And like you saw the pictures of it and you're like, that's not real. Like the game doesn't look like that. There's no way it looks like that.
And especially on an original Xbox, like
and at that time the Xbox was brand new, and they said they were going to get a version of it running on the Xbox, and it was just like, no, you're not going to do that. You're not going to do that at all. But then as it got closer to 2004 and magazines and stuff were getting more prominent, but that's like when E3 started becoming sort of people knew what it was. They understood what it was, and so people were going to E3 and playing Doom 3, and like they could not believe what they were playing. Like games did not have that ability to look like that at that time. Right. And so I've got very vivid memories of getting Doom 3 the day it came out and just watching my computer cry because it couldn't. Like it just could not run it. It wanted to really bad.
Right.
It just,
I didn't know they made it on the PC as well. I thought it was just Xbox only.
No. So the PC version is technically like the prominent version, whatever you want to call it, and then the Xbox version, it's the full engine and everything. But they pared back a lot of the levels, and they pared back some of the geometry basically for it to fit in RAM and stuff like that.
Right.
But,
which, all honestly, like on the console, it still looked amazing.
Yeah, it's an achievement on that machine, especially considering the innards of it and considering what you needed to run it on a PC. Like that was the days of, I have vivid memories of the 6600 GT, the 6800 GT, and the 9800 Pro. And that was kind of like, those were the top of the line cards then. And it was like, if you got those, you could run it. You still couldn't max it out, but you could run it pretty well. So,
yeah.
But then, yeah, it's such a weird game though, because like you said, it is Doom and it's a retelling of the original game, but it's also flawed in so many ways by the technology. And that's, the flashlight is always the big debate, should the flashlight have, and in the remake of it, they attached the flashlight to the, your armor basically. And people said that took away from the ambiance. It took away from the, that wasn't the point, but it's also, if you looked at the most popular mods at the time, the number one mod was the flashlight, or the duct tape mod, they called it.
Duct tape mod, yeah.
And and then people were always making different symbols of the, the bat symbol instead of a flashlight, or it was like the Death Star or something like that. It's like that was the most popular mod, so it was like people obviously used it, but what people don't really remember is like the reason that they did that was because the flashlight used real-time dynamic lighting, which was at the time you couldn't do that. But having the flashlight out at the same time as the gun, it just tanked the frame rate. Like the machines couldn't keep up with it, and you'd watch your computer explode. So like it's a mechanic that came out of it because of a necessity of the technology being too great, and so it kind of holds the game back in many ways. And that's also why like you typically there's only about 2 to 3 enemies on screen at a time in Doom 3, which if when you compare that to the original Dooms, you could have dozens and dozens. But that's also why there's monster closets, as well as Doom 3 had an obsession with this lightning animation where it would strike lightning and then usually an imp would pop out. And they did that specifically because they couldn't have too many imps on screen because your computer would just cry. And it would just tank the frame rate. So it's a really cool game, but and while it does look incredible for the time, you didn't realize it until you played it. It's like it looks so incredible because they're pushing it to its limits and they can't do what they want to do in many ways. So it's going back and playing it now. It doesn't have nearly as much as what's the word? Games look vastly better than it now, but at the time you did not see anything like this. Like you could not believe what you were seeing on screen.
Yeah. So, at this point, it's more nostalgia than like groundbreaking, like what it once was. And like one thing that really stood out was like the computer screens. Like they were very fluid, very clear, like, and you could read them just without zooming into it or anything. It's like, bam, it's right there. It's all readable. And it's like, dang.
Yeah, that was a huge part of the engine. They had 3 pillars of that engine, and one of them was what they called it the GUI interface. And that was actually a big thing of John Carmack. John Carmack really liked that technology, and he really put it in there. And he did, obviously, but it took a significant amount of development time to get it done. And some would argue that it's not worth it. Like the PDA system, it's got the Resident Evil stuff in it. It's like, hey, you're gonna find this code to open up this safe. Does that really belong in a Doom game? Like Doom games about killing stuff. Do I really need to know whose PDA this was and why this little story about, hey, I got a new security code because my girlfriend broke up with me,
Yeah, those ones were kind of corny. It was like, okay, cool. It tried to give life to a lifeless style game, which is fine. But like, again, like you said, does it need it? The lighting was definitely needed. Like I'll go back to the flashlight. I only played on the Xbox, and getting used to having only the flashlight out at one time. And now you said like, there's only like 2 or 3 monsters all on screen. Like I never noticed, I never realized that until you just said that. I was like, that makes more sense. But like it did add a lot more fear factor to like just having this one cone of light when you're going around the corner, down the dark corridors. It was like Amnesia before Amnesia. Mm-hmm. The Dark Descent. Yeah,
it was very Resident Evil of having to switch between the flashlight and your weapon created that panic.
Yes.
And it sort of kind of kept you there. But it also I don't know if Doom needs to be survival horror at that point, because it touches survival horror, and I don't think they've ever really gone into the design doc. If they have, I just haven't found it, of like why they went this way. And it's one of those games where, Doom was always derivative or derived from its tech and what the tech could do. And this kind of went the opposite direction. And this is what they could make with that tech. And so some people argue it's like, is this really Doom though? Like you could have made something else. But they also, it's since it's a reboot, even though at the time they probably didn't know, but like it doesn't tie into the overall Doom narrative at all. Right. So, which is kind of a unique. So it stands on its own thing, but they also called it Doom 3 for some reason, like even though it was a retelling. So
well, it was like Doom Guy wasn't really Doom Guy. You're just some random soldier. Which I guess Doom was that as well. But actually, Neil, now what? That our argument isn't valid. Never mind. I take that back.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody cared about the Doom story until probably 2016, but it's such a weird relic of time. At the time, it was like the craziest thing you've ever seen, but then I think it happens more these days of vertical slices and the PR cycle of a lot of games is so controlled these days. You don't really know what you're getting until you sit down and play it. And that was one of the first games where it's like everybody talked about the graphics, and then when you sat down to play it, it's just like, is this Doom? I don't know if this is. Like, this
it
is
doesn't
cool.
play like Doom, yeah.
Right, like, yeah, this is really cool, but I don't know if it's Doom. But like,
Doom,
it's still it's a cool relic. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. I will still. I haven't played it yet on Steam. I have it on Steam, but I just haven't come back to play it yet. Even though I want to, I'm just like, I'm like one of those guys where I'm like, I completed it. Cool. Do I really want to go back and play it again? Some yes, depending on the game, but sometimes I could just live without it. But I mean, I'll say this: Doom 3 was definitely the awkward emo teenager phase.
Yeah, for sure. It was trying to find its footing, and it didn't know how.
It's just a phase, Mom.
It really was. Well, it had two phases, but I guess the resurrection of evil wasn't really that well off.
That's another weird one to where it wasn't made by id. It was made by, I believe, Raven made it, which Raven's a great, that's a great developer. But it's like a weird, it's almost like the final Doom thing where it's like, it's not really made by the people, so it misses some of the things that make it Doom. But it came out a year later, which in computer terms, it was like the engine was more capable, and they had not modernized it, but optimized it in a way so it just didn't make your computer cry the way that it was. Right. But it's weird. Like it's kind of more puzzle based. I don't think if you saw it really quick. So, and this was also after Half-Life 2, which Half-Life 2 was a revolutionary game, and it's got the grabber, which is 100% a which is 100% just ripped from Half-Life 2. But it also, like, it trivializes a lot of it because you grab every fireball that the imp throws and just throw it right back at him, and so it just kind of kills them. So they added a couple new enemies, but they also added this heart thing, which I don't know if I can find a spot of it. But I've seen it
before, yeah.
Yeah, it like slows down time, and so like there's a couple different. Here's him. They even show you doing this. Like, hey, this is what you're supposed to do with this, stupid. But like it trivializes it because like you don't have to use ammo. There's infinite ammo, so like, and ammo, has always been a thing in Doom, that you have to sort of manage. But yeah, like they added a lot of puzzles to it, and you could use, this is one of the new enemies, that like you had like slow down time basically and like run through puzzles of like the Indiana Jones style of walls closing in on you, and it's like I don't
spinning blades and
exactly. It's just like, this is very gamified, and I don't know that if I needed that. And it's short
gimmicky.
too. It's short, and it's not really. They did bring back the double barrel shotgun, which was cool. But like you can get through it pretty quick, about 2 to 3 hours. It's not.
Oh geez.
It's a full on quote expansion, but it's very loosely an expansion. It's fine. Like if you like Doom 3, you'll probably like it. It's a little bit more enemy dense than Doom 3 was, just because they had optimized the engine and they could add more on screen and stuff. But it's definitely kind of forgettable too. A lot of people either played it or didn't. Some people didn't even know it existed. It came out a year later, and I don't even think, were they Bethesda yet? I don't remember. But it just didn't seem like Bethesda really cared about it too much. They just kind of pushed it out. So.
Yeah. So so basically this is a DLC before DLC was a thing. Huh.
Yeah. Like they were at the tail end of that era of quote expansions.
Right.
When, Diablo, Blizzard was really the king of it. Yeah. Blizzard was the king of expansions, and it's basically what it was. It was an expansion for it, but it's not a. That's the other thing. We haven't really ever talked about Doom multiplayer, which has always been a huge thing. But Doom 3's multiplayer did not really take off. And so usually an expansion meant it was like more content. Like for Diablo, it's like, hey, so you can go online and play this with your friends and stuff. And this is more just like a DLC of a campaign. like you said, before that was a thing. But it was a full price. It was like $40. It was not cheap. So.
Oh yeah, it was like the price of a full game, but not. It was like the length of a
Not
half
quite.
game. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's if you like Doom 3, you'll probably like it, but it's not something that you need to, run out and play kind of thing.
Yeah. So since we're in the same time era, and we don't have to speak a whole lot about this, but what about The Rock's performance in the movie Doom?
I am convinced that movie was not Doom until the end.
Yeah.
Because that script is, I'm going to say something controversial. I can't say the word controversial. I don't think the Doom movie is that bad. It's a terrible movie, a terrible Doom movie, but as a sci-fi movie, it's all right.
Okay.
It's all right. Like if it didn't say Doom on it, I think it would have been better received.
Yeah.
But it's a in terms of like an adaptation, it might be one of the worst. It's up there with like Super Mario Brothers of just like, this is you completely missed the entire point here. So
wow. So I'm gonna be ganged up here on that movie. Okay, I see how it is.
I like that movie, but it has nothing to do with Mario, and it's very similar. Of just like
wait, someone else doesn't like the Mario movie?
No, I like it.
I like it, but yeah, no. As far as it being a Mario movie, it's definitely loosely based story on the Mario Brothers. I will say that.
Right. But
I still enjoyed it as like you said, as a sci-fi fantasy kind of movie style. I like it. I really like it.
Yeah. They added that first person scene, and they added like a couple people that looked like Doom 3 enemies, and it's like, yeah, it's Doom. And I'm just like, okay. Like, I still own it like an idiot. Because it's just such a relic. But like the thing that like honestly the one thing about that movie that just absolutely pisses me off is he gets the BFG, but the BFG shot is blue instead of green. And it's just like details come out. Like, did you even try? Like you couldn't make it green. Like that's all. Like that's all you had to do. Like you took the time to make the quote BFG and put that in like your movie and to make it a giant gun, but you just didn't think about to make the shot green, and that just really upsets me.
Yeah, and didn't like not live up to its name of like the impact it does. Like it was kind of a wimpy shot compared to what it actually does.
You never get to see what it actually does. Like
I thought we did.
He takes one shot with it, but that's at the end of the movie where he's already fighting Carl Urban and he misses.
Yeah. Okay, that's
so like so yeah, you never really get to see what it does in many ways. And that's just it's just such a weird moment in time where I think they thought anything that The Rock would be in would take off, and it did not.
Right.
It did not take off at all.
He was like still young in his like film career. Like he was out of wrestling at that point. Wrestling.
Yeah.
Wrestling.
So yeah, it's a big name. Hey, let's get him.
Yeah, I think he had done Scorpion King and The Rundown by then already. But I have a feeling this is one that movie was in development hell for the longest time too. So I'm guessing that's when he signed on in like 1999 and trying to, it's like Carl Urban as well. Carl Urban's the other main character before, he got big too.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
I like
and
it's
just, it's such a weird relic. So
no, I like the actors. I'm just saying like, yeah, the story wise, what they did was subpar.
Yeah, it's
as
strange.
Far as
it's a virus.
Title, but yeah,
it's about chromosomes and how it chooses people based on certain brain matter of whether they're going to be evil or not. And like, if you're not evil, it turns you into a superhuman. And it's just like, wait, what?
Yeah,
it's out there. So
yeah, just like you said, man, it really didn't turn into a Doom movie until at the very end when he just woke up from a coma or whatever. And you just start looking at in his perspective in first person. I'm like, now it's Doom. Now it's a movie. But that was even short lived.
Yeah, it's only like a 90-second, you know, kind of thing. Yeah.
So
are you saying that towards the end they realized, oh, we're making a Doom movie and decided to throw that in there?
oh wait, we gotta do this.
Yeah.
Hurry up.
For like 90 seconds, we'll do this.
Yeah, that's all the time we could squeeze in.
Like the craziest part is like there's a movie out there called Hardcore Henry.
Yes.
If you ever seen it, it's like that is clearly inspired by first person shooters, like duh.
Oh yeah.
But it's like if they would have done that with Doom, like especially after like Doom 2016 sort of showed how you can do a story in Doom and make it actually enjoyable. It's like get the director of that or the director of John Wick and just do a movie completely. And give me a 90-minute first person movie and just wrecking stuff. And I think most people would be happy.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Now the real question is, did you know there's a second Doom movie?
Sorry?
No.
What?
It's called Doom Annihilation.
All right, I'm gonna have to look this up and watch this.
I'd show the trailer, but you might get delisted.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. So, but it's not good. That's what I'll say. It's more. What's the word I want to say?
So
here?
they don't have The Rock, though, do they?
No, it was a straight to DVD movie.
Oh.
And it might have been was it a Sci-Fi Channel movie? I don't remember. But what's funny is like it very clearly it actually takes some inspiration from the Doom 05 movie, like because some of the enemy designs and stuff are almost ripped from there. But it specifically was like it's not a game anymore. Like it's real, and it's just a terrible like adaptation. Again, it doesn't really follow the story. It also has a female protagonist, which is like fine, whatever. But like she's got her own journey. It's just like you're completely missing the point of what Doomslayer is and who he is and stuff like that. But the other funny thing is it got delayed for like 6 months because the studio that was funding it felt so strongly about it that they gave them more money to do the special effects. And then so people were actually kind of like, okay, maybe they're gonna pull this one off. And then it came out and it's like, this is terrible. Like, this is absolutely terrible. So, but the BFG shot is green. I'll give them that.
Okay. Well, that's good.
So yeah, they improved a little bit. So.
This is released in 2019.
Yeah, it's not that
so
old.
This is more recent. Like,
yeah,
that's terrible.
Wow.
There's a absolutely awful scene where there's a double barrel shotgun and he just, it's like, he's got a double barrel shotgun, so that means it's Doom. And it's like, you completely missed the point entirely.
I kind of want to find this now just to see how bad it is.
I don't want to watch it.
Oh, come on.
Ever.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Absolutely not. I'm telling both of you no.
Tavik, you want to watch it? We're not talking about Duke Nukem tonight. That's a whole different rabbit hole.
I think I did a YouTube video on this.
On the movie?
I did a review. Yeah, I'm trying to remember now. I've only made like 15 YouTube videos in my life, and it's usually Doom and Gears of War stuff. But I'm trying to remember if I made it or not. This is completely off tangent. But
no, you good, man. You good?
The whole podcast is tangents.
Fair enough.
Or non-tangent, depending on if it's a subjective or an objective view on the podcast. Oh, man. So, for anyone who doesn't know, Allie told me how she was teaching class one day about subjective and objective opinions and whatnot. And ever since then, I just said, oh, so is that subjective or objective? Every time she would say something.
Worst part is that subjective and objective has now haunted me since that class.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's not.
I feel like that's your own fault. Like you set the precedent.
I asked for help. All I did, I was talking to him and he's like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm working on school stuff. And he's like, what are you working on? And I showed him and he ran with it.
Yeah. Like a big brother does.
You showed him.
I did. I made the mistake of conspiring with my friend to show him something and he ran with it.
See, you should have known by now.
The horrible big brother type that he is.
I act like a little child at times. So.
Yes, I know. I've reined in a lot of my comments that I wanted to make at both of you.
I did. I made a freaking video on this. I'll have to watch this later, see how bad it is. I remember specifically because I used too much footage from the thing, so it got like pushed down really, really far. It's like my worst performing video.
Oh. That's another thing I've always wondered, like, you know, what's the amount of footage that you can use? Like, obviously not show half the movie, but like, you know.
Yeah, part of it is how many followers do you have? You know, fair use is such a slippery slope.
It's a weird situation. I could never understood it. I never understood it. That's why I only use copyright-free music.
That would have been smart, but back then I didn't do it for the views, man. And of course it didn't matter. They still
rebel.
They kept me down. They were holding me back from exposing their terrible movie.
I'm never watching either of these Doom movies. I'm good.
Wait, you never seen the first one?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Well, Cory, time to dust off that old movie and surprise her one night.
I have the 4K version, so.
No.
I didn't even know they went that far. Holy cow.
Yeah, that got a 4K release, yeah.
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
already committed to another series of movies that I'm currently finishing. No Doom. No Doom.
What movies?
I'm not saying.
Yeah, you got my curiosity now. But yes, you choose your words wisely. It could be another subjective or objective opinion as well. Oh man. So 2 movies. One released at Doom 3, the other one released after 2016. I'm looking at the cover right now. It kind of looks like they used one of the monsters or a way of remaking the cover for Rise of Evil cover.
Yeah, that's
looks
true.
similar to
I
it.
never thought about that. Yeah.
But
and it doesn't even like, the thing is like it pulls in. I don't understand why both of them, like the look and feel of it, both pull from Doom 3. Like they don't. I don't understand that one, and it's like out of all the Doom games, like why go with that one?
yeah. Well,
it's the most realistic looking though too, so maybe that's why. But
yeah. Well, like you said too, they kind of stepped into a new boundary and tried to put a horror story aspect into it, so it's not like just a run and gun. But so I think they just did the Doom 3 and then Doom 3 Rise of Evil, and that was it, right? They haven't cut anything until 2016.
Yeah, there was a Doom game in development that was quote Doom 4.
Oh,
I also found this video too.
You put him down a rabbit hole. He's lost.
I'm going through my own YouTube channel and I'm just like, oh right.
I do the same thing. It's all good.
Yeah, I'm like I did make a video on this. This was a COVID video too. So
nerds.
Yeah. So it was loosely. It got the nickname of Call of Doom because it was going for a more I won't say realistic, tone, but it was following the trends of the time. And at that time, this would have been 2010, I think, is when it started development. Officially. So at that time, that was the biggest game. It still is, but that was what everybody was chasing. Homefront was just a Call of Duty clone, and Medal of Honor became a Call of Duty clone. So that's kind of what they were going for. But they were smart enough, and they canceled it. But that's why it took forever for it to come out, is because that game got canceled a couple times.
Oh wow, okay. I didn't know there was footage of it.
Yeah, there's an animation, and so I believe No Clip. If you don't know what No Clip is, it's a YouTube channel. Danny O'Dwyer, he does a lot of behind the scenes stuff with developers. He actually goes to them and sort of gets a lot of footage and stuff. But this was the glory kills were actually kind of a staple of this version, and that's the only thing they really carried over to Doom 2016 was the glory kills. But it's this is all concepts and stuff like that. But there was actual footage. Did I skip it already? So yeah, this is about the only gameplay clip they actually have of it. So it looks similar to how Doom 2016 ended up looking in terms of like the view and everything, but the style of it was far slower. It was far more methodical. It was not about run and gun. It was more about, brutalism with the glory kills, and that was kind of it. It was not based. And
that was the main focus.
It didn't get that far in development, so who knows how far, it would have gone. But yeah, it was based around Call of Duty. It wasn't going to have the Doomslayer. It was going to be more of a, as you can see, they had a full-on tactical rifle. It wasn't really the Doom. The biggest thing that I always say is it had reloading, which is something you don't want to do in Doom. Doom should not have reloading of guns ever. So if it has reloading, you've done something wrong. So
it's not Doom.
Right. But so it was a long time. I mean, Doom was 2004, and then Resurrection of Evil was 2005. So yeah, there wasn't a Doom game until 2016. So
officially, yeah.
Yeah, and that was, and they actually didn't even announce it officially. It was, if you bought Wolfenstein, on the front of the Wolfenstein cover, it said access to the Doom beta, and people were like, what Doom beta? Like, what are you talking about? Like, you haven't announced a Doom game. Yeah, like they literally hadn't announced the game, and so I remember, like, as a Doom person, I was like, I'm sorry, what? Like, did I miss something? Like, yeah. So I was I was gonna get Wolfenstein anyway, but you definitely have my attention now. So what is this Doom game that you're speaking of?
He said the secret word.
But it's what's there to say about Doom 2016? So I believe you said you've played it, right?
I have not beaten it, but I have played it, yes.
I'm curious how you feel about it.
It is actually fun. It's enjoyable. I will say too, this part right here in this little cage area, I'll say, I played it like last year, and I did some execution, and then I ended up in one of those glass pillars of like the power cells, like right there that you're going to jump on. I phased through it, and I was like, I can't get out. I can't get out. What the heck? And so that kind of killed the game for me a little bit. But like once I started playing more into it, I was like, the story felt like it was one of two ways or both at the same time. I don't like he's the original Doom guy. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, so it technically is. If I remember correctly, and it's a very loosely based. So they also retconned, I don't say retconned, but Doom 64 is officially canon now too.
Okay.
They released, when they did Doom 64, they released a new campaign that was like 8 levels long that tied everything together essentially. So it goes places. The Doom Marine from Doom 1 and 2 basically gets, I don't remember, there's Argon energy, which is in Doom Eternal. And so he basically gets part of this energy, and so that's what makes him from the Doom Marine to the Doom Slayer, and that's when he becomes more superhuman and stuff like that. But it goes places. Like it's about prophecies, it's about angels, it's about demons. At the time, we didn't know that. Doom 2016 had come out, and there hadn't really been. This was before they realized that they were onto something. So Doom 2016 was kind of made in a vacuum, and actually one of its biggest inspirations is RoboCop of all things.
Really?
So if you're a fan of RoboCop, there's a very famous scene like after they basically before he wakes up and he realizes he's RoboCop, and it's like a first person scene, and like all these people are walking up to him and kind of like telling him like, hey, you're going to be the future. And the one guy comes up to you and says like, you're going to be a badass motherfucker. And so that was actually the inspiration of the Doom Slayer in 2016 is we just want to make you a badass motherfucker. And so that's kind of where that's the inspiration, and that's as far as it goes. It's like you don't really know what you're doing, you don't know why you're doing it, but you're a badass motherfucker, so you're going to get up and you're going to destroy everything in front of you.
Right,
so,
just like the first game. Yeah,
right. And it's definitely made by people that, you know, that got the joke of like, why can't he do these things? Because he can. Like it's what he does.
Right.
So, and if you go into the what's the word I want to use? Not the audio logs, but yeah, like the audio logs and stuff like that, because you do find stuff like that as the game starts going further and further, you start realizing that, because you wake up in this sarcophagus thing, if I could find it.
Yeah, at the very beginning.
Yeah,
it's almost like a coffin.
And they don't really tell you what that's about. And so, but if you pay attention to the audio logs, you sort of find out that this mythical creature that they're always talking about is you, and that they sealed you away because you basically went to hell and just cleaned up, and they're afraid of you. So that's where the joke came from. It was like in other games you're locked in the room with demons, but in Doom 2016 the demons are locked with you. So it became, and it's just told in such a goofy and fun way. It's like they made you care about a Doom story that just it was the right amount of stupid, but the right amount of weird as well. Of like right here, like they're praying to the coffin and everything, and it's just they eventually tell you like how this happened, but at the time we just didn't. It was just ridiculous.
Right, and I like how they. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go for it.
I was just gonna say I like how they progress the story. Like each level, you learn a little bit more about where you came from. What are these prophecies? What about this argon energy that you're destroying the canisters to contain hell, basically? Like,
right.
Things are unfolding as you go. I love that. It was really good.
Well, and they even like they shrine the armor here at the beginning, and they don't really tell you about it. And it's just like it's such a weird place to go, and it's weird that it just works so well. And
yeah.
They never really talked about it. Like Doom 2016 is a weird anomaly that, you know, they've talked about it too, of like they actually did not expect it to take off the way that it did. They were actually, so it's one of the very few games where the embargo for the preview or for the reviews was the morning of the release of the game. And so typically when that happens in the media industry, that means it's bad. Like they're expecting it to not go well. They were expecting, you know, 6s and 7s across the board. And then when it came out and it was like 9s and 10s across the board, they were surprised. And so as a Doom fan, you know, we didn't know what we were getting into. And it was, as it kind of just kept going, and there was a lot of, you know, hubbub on the internet about glory kills and how it's going to ruin the game and it stops the flow of combat. And there's a lot of, you know, hubbub because no one had really played it yet about what it was going to be. And as a Doom fan, it was incredible to kind of see just like, okay, they did it. Like they figured it out. Like it took them 15 years to get there, but they figured it out somehow. Like this game is Doom. Like when you pull up the map screen, it's a Doom map. You know, it's a modern version of Doom. And again, it goes back to like the brutal Doom thing of like, if they could have made Doom back in the day, it would have been this brutal. You know, this is what the brutality of it is, definitely something that they got right. So.
Oh, 100%. I actually got a video clip I recorded at least a couple months ago when I started playing this, like with those shrines that you like reach in, you grab the heart, you can kind of rip it out, and then it summons all these demons all at once.
The gore nest.
Yeah, the gore nest. There's one part where it's like this is where I feel like the music really ties in together. It's just this headbanging, just nonstop. It's just the beats, and it's just like pumping through, and you find the berserk orb, and it's like, oh, it's game over. Then you just like one shot and everything with your fists, and it's like blood and gore everywhere. It's like, it just, oddly to say, it felt so good. Like letting all your frustration out, if you will. Like, you know, it worked.
Yeah, they don't make games like that anymore. You know, like you don't make games where it's like a power fantasy like that. And it's like the one thing that I always call back to is when I think he just had it out actually. Yeah, the I can't think of the name right now. The rail rifle. Like when you fire that gun, it pushes you back. It's got so much power that like it just like it's those small details like that where it's just like, okay, you guys get it. Like you get what makes Doom Doom and like why it's just so much fun. And it's really a testament to like modernizing a classic game and how to do it right. And I can't think of any other franchise that has really reinvented itself like that. Maybe Hitman. I think Hitman's a pretty strong one of kind of picking up what that original game was trying to do and kind of making it better. So
I agree on that one.
Yeah, I've never played Hitman, so I can't say much on that. But
that first Hitman game when it came back out, that was something special too. So, but no, it's
hold on. He's never played Hitman.
Oh my gosh, we're really gonna focus on this now?
I am.
You should play Hitman.
You should play Hitman.
So here's the thing. I do have Absolution, right? I do have Absolution.
Not
that's the worst. That's the worst one.
That's the worst one. Okay.
Yeah. If you're gonna play old ones, play Blood Money.
Yeah, Blood Money. Like
I got Blood Money.
Then play the newer ones, the brand new ones.
Absolution is not a bad game. It's just not a Hitman game.
Okay.
So yeah,
You're playing the wrong one.
Yeah.
Well,
that's like a poor man's Splinter Cell. That's what Absolution is.
Okay.
That's being
I bought it for cheap, so I was like, I'll try it out someday.
It's a totally fine game, but it's not Hitman.
Gotcha.
The new Hitman games are fantastic. Multiple ways to assassinate your targets. You can get them killed themselves. Same as before, but just way more creative. And you've watched me go completely bonkers on a bunch of people at a big old wedding.
Oh yeah, no, I actually followed this Irish fella. Is Big Mooney. He dives in a lot on the open world Hitman games, and he's hilarious. I love how he does certain things, but like the concept of an open world Hitman is like, that's what these assassination, these kinds of games, they should really be like like Assassin's Creed was open world. So it's like, was the original Hitman not like that? Like,
they didn't have the technology back then to do open worlds, basically. Okay. So it was more like singular missions, and so you could kind of like, hey, go to point A to B to C and make your assassination. It was kind of Splinter Cell, but without I don't want to say so much technology, but like Splinter Cell is very much about like staying in the shadows, like literally, and crawling on the roofs. But Hitman was more about just being like doing it incognito. There was actually a story too, right. Believe it or not. It wasn't. It's actually pretty decent, but it's kind of it's on the subsurface of it. But Hitman 2, like the original Hitman 2, is probably peak Hitman. But then the reinvention of Hitman is they use the technology to kind of create the game that they always wanted to make, that they couldn't make because the tech just wasn't there. So
it was very much a very linear kind of game. Okay.
It's so good.
Blood Money is kind of a combination of those two, to where like it's like little sandboxes. They're not nearly as large, but it's got a little bit more that linearity. If you like, Hitman is the reinvention of Hitman is like, what dumb way can this happen? Like, how many ways can I make this one person die? And it's like, I can poison his drink, or I can make him fall down the stairs. Or if I do this and I wait till this point, I can have somebody else kill him. Whereas Blood Money is more about like, here's your targets, but there's 6 different ways you can get to that target, kind of thing. Blood Money's super strong. I like Blood Money a lot.
Okay. It's in the Steam library, Kevin. You should play Blood Money.
So in my defense, I'm not good at those types of games.
No one's good at them at first. You just got to try. If you play the new ones and you start at Hawke's Bay and you get real good at Hawke's Bay, you'll be able to handle the whole rest of the game.
Okay. So I guess that's my assignment eventually, huh?
I'm just saying. I play Phase and Hitman to relieve stress. So
fair. Play Doom
The elusive
2016.
target thing that they did was also ingenious.
It's still happening.
Yeah.
I love elusive targets. Jean-Claude Van Damme is coming.
Right.
In a few weeks.
Yeah.
And I can't wait.
So they bring in celebrities on these things?
I'm going after it. They had a wrestler not that long ago. I got him too.
And they've lightened they've lightened the requirements, but it used to be when they first came out, like you had one attempt. And if you screwed it up, you didn't get another attempt. So like people were very skittish on like I'm gonna go watch this other person play it so I can try to figure it out, because if I screw up, I don't get another chance.
Right.
So.
Yeah, because like they do it, but then like that target goes into like an arcade rotation like 3 or 4 months after it originally is there, so you can try it again, but you don't get the same rewards you got for doing it when it first came out.
Interesting. Side note, Corey, with what just showed up was the evolution of like the guns, how you can do upgrades and all that. That added a new element to the game. Yeah.
Yeah, for me it was the mastery of how if you use the weapon in certain ways, you kind of with the double barrel shotgun, I think it was like double kills and stuff. And then you got the ability to shoot one barrel at a time kind of thing. And it's gamified in a way that makes sense for Doom, but it also, similar to like that Mega Man X thing, like it taught you how to use the weapons. Like you didn't know it at the time, but it was secretly teaching you how to be better at the game. Like Doom 2016 actually isn't that difficult if you know what you're doing. Whereas like the original Doom to this day is still, even if you are the best Doom player, you still might die. But Doom 2016 is like once you master it, like it's really not that hard. But it's still a blast to play. So.
Oh yeah, one thing that somebody told me, I don't remember where I heard it from, but when playing 2016, never stand still, always move around.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, no, that holds true. You have to keep moving one way or another. Plus, it feels like you're in like a cinematic badass movie, like you're just taken down, in certain ways. It's like, it feels good. It feels good.
Yeah, it's an incredible achievement just because of what it is, but it's also interesting that they didn't go back to it. Like Doom Eternal and Doom the Dark Ages are going to be they're extremely different games. They're completely different games.
Oh, okay.
And it's so some people are upset about that, but it's just interesting that they felt like, at least what they've said is like this is the peak of what, if they were to remake original Doom, this is what it would look like. It would not be Doom Eternal, it would not be Doom the Dark Ages. Like this is what it would be. And so I hope they kind of go back to it one time and just make more of it. But I also, Doom Eternal is a very divisive game for the right and wrong reasons, I feel like. So.
Okay. And that was my other confliction too, was, as like this is supposed to be the original Doom guy kind of thing. It's like a restart, but a continuation. It felt like it's almost like a retelling.
They call it a soft reboot, I believe.
Okay.
At the time, they did not intend to bring everything together. It was like a full-on remake, but then in Doom Eternal, they definitely, I won't say retconned that, but they deliberately tied everything together in Doom Eternal, specifically to sort of, I would say like complete the narrative, but they didn't have to do that, but they definitely wanted to in some capacity. Like, hey, we want to respect those old games and we want to kind of bring them into the fold in many ways. So they also very loosely bring in Doom 3, but not really kind of thing. Yeah, it's kind of it's more of like a precursor to it's a prequel to everything, basically, like the start of the invasion or like a glimpse into an invasion. But yeah, it's like an elusive, just like I heard about this thing that happened on Mars like 20 years ago where this demon came out, and they're like, oh, I wonder what that was about. Like that was kind of that's all they really say about it. Right.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, so I haven't beat 2016 yet. So with that being said, I have not even touched Resurrection. So if you if you want to go into Resurrection, try to make it, spoiler free.
Yeah.
Because I still like the story of this, and I kind of want to know what happens at the end of Resurrection. But I want to find out on my own, kind of thing.
Yeah, and Doom Eternal is very divisive for good and bad reasons. The story of it is they go full on like lore. Like there's lore, there is like hundreds and hundreds of pages of history, and like they're building a Doom world in Doom Eternal. But it loses a lot of that goofiness when they did that. It loses a lot of that RoboCop feeling of just like, it's no longer about you just being a badass. It's like, no, we want to create a world. Like we want to create a history, a narrative. Like there's Doom the Dark Ages is a prequel, the one coming out next year, and it specifically is calling back to things that they reveal in Doom Eternal about the history of not only the Doom Slayer, but like this whole sort of cult of Slayers. And it's just like, it's cool, but it's also like Doom 2016 worked for the mass because of just how it's so easy to pick up and understand. It's just like, I pick up, I'm a Doom Marine. I might be a superhero. I don't really know, but I'm just ripping things apart. So I'm on board. And then Doom Eternal is just like, hey, we're going to like introduce like all these other elements that you probably don't understand because we don't really understand it quite yet. And so come on for the ride. And it's like, it's cool. But it comes back to the Doom 3 thing. Like, I don't know if I need all this. Like, I kind of just want to be the Doom guy and just kind of, destroy stuff. I don't know that I need to know where he came from and why he is the way he is and all that stuff. And I think there's a middle ground, and I think that they realized that too, from some of the interviews and stuff that they've done of like, they probably went a little too far into it and lost some of that magic, but it's from a design standpoint, it is completely different than Doom 2016. And that's where a lot of people get lost, and they don't expect that. They expect it to be a sequel to 2016 and sort of play the same, and it doesn't at all. And it's a character action game, actually, more than anything. It's more Devil May Cry and less Doom. There's if you look at Doom Eternal, like high level play, it's kind of nuts. So, but they basically they do a rock paper scissors thing. Like Doom 2016, it was called push forward combat, and the idea was you use the glory kills to kind of keep pushing forward. And then Doom Eternal, it's a rock paper scissors where the chainsaw, flamethrower, and glory kills each give you a different attribute, basically. So glory kills get you health, flamethrower gets you armor, and chainsaw gets you ammo. So you have to kind of play with those, and you have to sort of bounce between them. And when you need armor, you got to know to use your flamethrower. When you need ammo, you got to know when to use your chainsaw and stuff like that. So
you got to find that balance.
Right, and it's not easy. Like you have to really understand those systems, and you have to play with them. And it gets to the point to where, like, if you know what you're doing in Doom Eternal, like you don't touch the ground. Like you are literally never touching the ground. Like you're just kind of zipping around and you're just doing crazy things. And it's like, I like it, but high level Doom Eternal play doesn't look like Doom anymore. It literally looks like Devil May Cry. So this is kind of one of it's got double dashes. It's got freeze grenades. It's got the meat hook, which is on top of your shotgun. And so you're literally clipping to things and jumping through the air, and you're dashing in the air. And it's completely different. Now you don't have to play it that way, but like if you're trying to play on Ultra or Nightmare or Ultraviolent, you do. Like you have to learn these systems, and each one of the all the enemies also have weak spots now. So like the Arachnotron has a tail that if you destroy the tail, it no longer can shoot grenades at you. And then like the Caco Demon, whenever he opens his mouth, if you shoot a grenade into him, it basically kills him instantly, kind of thing. So it's high level Doom Eternal play is no longer Doom, and so that turned a lot of people off for various reasons. But it's like right there. He's not even touching the ground for a good
this
5-6
is
seconds.
like hardcore mode. Like, dear goodness.
Yeah, and he's weapon swapping like instantly, kind of thing.
It's like, how do you see what's going on?
Right. Yeah, it's wild. And so there's the Martyr who's just he's a jerk. Like, and it's the way I've never played a video game and then like after it been like I need a break. Like
right.
The last three, like you basically spend most of the game getting to your top status. Like each level adds something new, like whether it's a double dash or a double jump, or eventually you get a freeze grenade or the ability to destroy their armor. And then the last three levels is like, okay, now bring all that together. And like it's like 45 minutes of paying attention, not like you can't just play Doom Eternal. Like you have to concentrate. You have to know what you're doing. Every enemy that comes up to you has a weakness and you need to know how to exploit it basically. And so it becomes Devil May Cry essentially, of just like, I've got to figure this game out and go from there. And that turned a lot of people off. Like it really did. Like they're just like, that's not what I come to Doom for. And I get it. Like I really do.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, it's like that game exists and that's Doom 2016. Like if you want to play that game, it already exists. But no, I've only finished Doom Eternal twice, and it's because like it's a workout. Like it is a workout playing that game. Like if you want to play Doom at high levels, like it's wild. It is wild how much you have to do in that game. So
And I was gonna say the 2016 and Resurrection, they both had multiplayer, right?
Yeah, Doom 2016 had more traditional multiplayer, and then Eternal had I can't think of the name of it right now, but it was a 2-on-1. So one person was the Doomslayer and the other two were two of the demons. And so it was a situation where the Doomslayer was overpowered, but it was 2-on-1. So you had to sort of learn how to exploit it. It was okay. It took them a long time to find the balance of it. And when they finally did, it got to a pretty good place. But by then, most people had checked out of it. So there just wasn't a lot of people playing it. And at one point, they also had another invasion similar to Dark Souls that was going to be implemented, to where if during your campaign somebody could take control of one of the demons and try to basically kill you. But that unfortunately never made it out. They said they just couldn't get it to where it was fun, basically. Instead, they made a horde mode, which is pretty good.
Nice.
But it's visually though too. That's a big one. Is the look of Doom Eternal, I think, is vastly superior to any other game in the franchise. Like from a start to finish, like each location is vastly different. Each enemy looks vastly different. They also have a system where each one of the enemies has various different like states to where they take damage, like right there, like guts and stuff are flying off of them. So, and that's in real time. Like wherever you hit them, it actually will take that damage and sort of remove the flesh and the armor and where it goes. And so there's a lot of detail there that you just don't get in the other games.
So
and
it's going to burn up my computer. Great.
yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, but that's the other thing is like at the time when it came out, it was actually crazy optimized. Like people were running it, 150 plus frames day one. And so people were kind of shocked how well it ran, kind of thing. And they eventually added ray tracing to it, DLS and all that. So it was supported for quite a while. And then they technically also did, this technically isn't the last game, but let me pull it up here.
Yeah, this, Eternal, that came out in 2022? 2020, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so then they did the Ancient Gods Part 1 and 2, which is technically Doom. It's a standalone game, but it is the sequel to Doom Eternal.
Okay.
And you start the game as a fully powered Doomslayer from Doom Eternal. And so like from go, it's basically like master mode for Doom Eternal. It's like, we expect you to know how to play Doom Eternal. We expect you to know how to fight everything. Go. Like don't just
we're not holding your hand.
So right. And it's cool. Like it's a really strong game, but it goes places, like story wise. Like at one point there's mechs, it's almost like Warhammer like, and it's wild. So but it's from a gameplay standpoint, it is definitely again, like it's a workout. Like you can't just play it. You have to kind of experience it, kind of thing. So
you have to be there in the moment, if you will.
yeah, like you can't. Yeah, you cannot. You can't take it lightly. You have to know what you're doing. So, but they also added like there's a whole new faction that's basically like angels, and so they are. It adds a new flavor to the game, and it adds a lot of new enemy types, and I'm trying to find that part that's the angel level. So like even like on your HUD down here, like look how busy this HUD is. Like you've got 2 different things here. You've got armor, you've got health, you've got 4 different things in the middle. Like it's wild. So
I mean, for being as busy on the HUD too, it's still simplified.
Yeah,
like,
and
so it's not in the way obtrusive.
Yeah, and these 4 in the middle were actually added after the fact because they used to use sound cues, and basically what would happen is if you had a certain ability, it would play in it'd be like a bell or it would be like a gong, and so but for accessibility reasons, but as well as like sometimes you just miss it, like you're in the middle of something like, oh, I didn't realize I had my ice grenade or whatever. So that's what those 4 symbols are at the bottom. It's telling you what abilities are currently off of cooldown and which ones are on cooldown. Like that's ice grenade, and I think that's your armor breaker. I don't remember what that one is. Yeah, even right here, these 4 in the middle of the screen, this is telling you you've got your chainsaw ready. This is telling you that you've got your armor breaker ready. So it's a straight up character action game, and it's wild.
It's definitely an improvement from 2016, obviously from 3, but like
yeah, visually, yeah, it's
well, visually, mechanically, like level wise,
and
like oh yeah.
I would love to see a Doom 2016 style game with the Doom Eternal like level design. Like I want a little bit more open areas, but a little bit. I don't want it to be a workout every time I'm playing it, but yeah. It exists though at the same time. So it's I actually think it's probably like in terms of a game, it's the best Doom game by far. But in terms of like, it's not why you go to Doom. You know, like I don't go to Doom to play a character action game. I go to kill demons kind of thing. So I understand why a lot of people just hate it. A lot of people really don't like Doom Eternal, and I get it. But I'm just like, it's still an incredible game for what it is.
Right.
And that's it. That's Doom. So there's 2.5 hours of Doom for everybody.
The lore, the opinions, everything, all there.
And of course, we've got Doom: The Dark Ages next year.
I was going to say, do you want to touch upon that as Allie's just?
Yeah, I'm excited. Obviously, this game got leaked so many times.
Yeah.
So we kind of knew what it was. But when they finally saw it, it was like, again, it looks like they've learned their lessons of like, we need to make this ridiculous, but we can still be in our lore. It's just like the dude's got a freaking main. Like the Doomslayer's got a main for some reason. It's just like, why is that a thing? I don't know, but I'm all right with it. Like,
yeah.
So
like just this scene right here, like a shield and a shotgun. Like, dude, they didn't have shotguns in medieval, but okay, sure. And then one gun, it's like the machine gun, but it takes a skull and grinds it as your bullets. Yeah. Like right there. Like that is dope.
And it's like the throwing of the blades on the shield, like that's that is just like that is peak Doom. Where does he get the flail from? I don't really know, but that's okay.
Really care?
So, no, exactly. Yeah. So, and they basically said this Doom Eternal is going to be far more melee focused than the other 2 were. Obviously, or not Doom Eternal, sorry, Doom: The Dark Ages. And so that's going to be kind of, they're focusing on much larger areas, but and a lot more hand-to-hand combat. So they're trying to, they're making each game in this most modern version or whatever you want to call it of Doom unique. And I understand why that pisses some people off, but I'd rather that than 3 games that are similar, I guess. So
right, and that's not a bad thing, all honesty, because Hideo Kojima did that a lot with his Metal Gear games. Every game had a new aspect to it, and it grew as the games progressed, which was good. I liked it.
Where's Tavik? Every time we bring up Metal Gear, Tavik shows up.
Metal Gear.
Every time.
Still never played one. So that's not true. I've played one of them, but I've never finished any of them.
Okay. Which one did you play?
I think it was 2.
2 was good. I beat 2, and that was actually good. I enjoyed it. And there's a lot that I probably missed out on. There he is. There's Tavik.
Tavik, get him.
Yeah, I haven't beat 5 yet, but like that's just a whole.
You don't beat 5. 5 beats you.
For real.
You beat 5. You beat 5.
5 it wasn't even done though.
No, it's not.
No, that's the sad part. You know, halfway through,
right.
he got kicked out. I hate that. I would still despise Konami for doing that, and that's why I'll never play Metal Gear Rise because of that very reason. But
you want to watch Tavik get jealous?
I got that too.
Or wait.
There's so much story you're missing out on.
Yeah, 2 was bottom of the barrel, okay? Because they definitely tricked you into thinking one thing and then another thing happened.
I thought that was pretty good.
I think it's known by now. I don't think you can.
Well, okay. Well, I mean, like, they tell you that you're going to play a snake and you play for Snake for the prologue. That's all you do it for. And he's dead. But then he's going around as Iroquois Pliskin, and it's like, no, that's Snake, bro. That's Snake. Quit lying to me. But no, I'm going to play this naked kid who just does cartwheels through this whole hallway to avoid seeing people.
Don't knock the cartwheels.
Though, you know what? Raiden, he redeems himself. I liked him in 4.
Is it Raiden or Raiden?
Raiden, whatever. However you say his name, I can never remember because
How do you
everybody
call him
pronounces it
Raiden?
differently.
I'm more curious. Yeah, I don't know which one it is.
But then
Everybody
again,
says
I've only
it
called him Raiden because that's how the English cast would say it in game. But
is it right?
that's the other half. You know, with translation, did we get it right?
But he's so much better in 4 than he is in 2. I mean, he's half cyborg at this point, but
yeah,
I liked him and his like relationship with Sonny and all of that stuff that happens.
Tavik says Raiden.
Raiden, okay.
Yeah.
Because I have a student whose name is spelled exactly like that, and we have to call her Raiden.
Okay, fair.
Yes.
I mean, everyone's fine with their own wrong opinion, but okay, that's fair, I guess.
My thing is like, since we know like it's never going to be finished properly, like kind of, I don't know if I ever want to play it for that reason.
You should.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'd still play the games because they're still good. But 5, I don't know. I don't know about 5.
He is edgy in 4. I will give you that, Tavik. But maybe he wasn't necessary, but he did save Sonny. He did exactly what he promised he would do.
If they're truly going to finally get 4 off of PlayStation 3 only, and they're going to include it in that collection supposedly, maybe I'll give it a shot. But that's part of it too. Like I don't want to have to stream Metal Gear Solid 4. Like just give me a modern version of it.
Want to hear a funny story about Metal Gear 4 and me?
Oh,
Sure.
geez.
So I had the Metal Gear PlayStation 3, right? I had the one that came out with it, bundled with it, all that stuff. I went to play that game. Yes.
Oh, God, yeah.
I went to play that game. That particular game in 2018. 2018, somewhere in there.
No, it's
before
not
COVID.
2018.
29, somewhere before COVID. But it killed my entire system. That game alone killed my entire system.
Killed a lot of systems, if I remember correctly.
Murdered it from the inside out.
Did you try turning it off and on again?
That and Killzone 2. Killzone 2 made PS3s cry.
Yeah, 100%.
My PS3 made a funny grinding sound, and then it just wouldn't read discs anymore.
So it sounds like your CPU kind of unseated itself from the motherboard, and you need to send it in to get it reseated.
I'd had that thing for the point when Sony wouldn't even look at it anymore.
No, you can
They had
ship
stopped
it off to someone on eBay, and they'll fix it for you for like $100.
Bro, my ex-husband got that in the divorce. We don't talk about what happened.
Oh, well then, why are we talking about it?
I'm just saying it was funny that I was playing that game and it murdered its own system.
Fair. Did murder a lot of PS3s. Yeah, I'm not going to speak on it. I can go on a tangent about healthcare of taking care of your consoles. Don't put it in a little box and like recompound your system and clean it. But
bro, this thing was out in the open. It was not boxed in.
That's fine, but like, you can still recompound the paste because it could be dried up and it's just gonna, done.
A lot of those PS3s, especially the launch models, it was similar to the 360. It just wasn't as rampant. Like the chips just weren't baked right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I remember when I bought
actually,
that
I got
thing,
two of them sitting right here. The CHA01s. I've taken them apart so many times. Like it's unbelievable.
I just remember when I bought it, I got it from my old boss at Game Crazy, and she like put it on the counter, and I was like, I'm taking it home because it had been sitting in the back for like weeks.
Fair.
I was like, I'm taking it home. She's like, yeah, after you read the manual book thing, page to page, cover to cover.
Walkthrough guide.
Yes.
The big encyclopedia.
This thing. I read this thing page to page for weeks.
I actually did that with GTA 5, all honesty. I've read through it, find all the secrets, how to do the stocks and all that. Like, yeah, it was pretty fun.
Never played Metal Gear except for 2. Jesus Christ.
Oh my gosh. She's never going to let this down. You know that, right?
No.
But
like good games.
She's never going to give you up. She's never going to let you down. She's never going to run around and desert you.
Oh my God! Quit rickrolling me. I will glitch out.
Welcome.
I don't know where that thing went.
No, but for real, she's never going to let that one down until you actually play those games.
Again, if they get 4 off of PS3, I'll consider it. So.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a huge part. Like truly, like I really sat down. I can't play 4, like, and I know some consider that to be the best one. So.
I think 3 is the best one.
I haven't played either one of them, so.
Maybe when Delta comes out, maybe I'll finally.
Oh, I'm buying Delta.
In 2035.
I'm buying it when it comes out.
We'll get GTA 6 before it comes out.
Probably.
Yeah. Or maybe
GTA 7, probably.
3, in my opinion, 3 is the best. It changed everything, opened everything up. The camouflage system alone was so cool. It was good.
I mean, yeah, it was different. Yeah, I mean, for PS2, like it was definitely, like I said, with every Hideo Kojima game, he did something different that was like,
Hey, running around shooting those little frogs and making them go was fun too. Or, okay, the part with Ocelot, and it's in that building and he sends his whole squad at you and you're like, you climb underneath the building to hide from them and take them out one by one?
I've never played the game.
Oh, okay, never mind. Well, there is a part where that happens and you're under the building. I got so good at stealth from that particular level. Yes,
okay.
Tavik, that song haunts my nightmares. No, there's this part where you climb up a ladder and the song that he's thinking of plays the entire way you're climbing up this ladder. It's actually kind of cool. Yeah, that one.
So you get a James Bond opening while you're climbing the ladder.
It's not an opening. It's not an opening. It takes place like way into the game.
On the world's longest ladder.
Yes, it is a long ladder, but it's cool at the same time. Tavik will agree with me. He doesn't, I swear.
I think he does. I think he's agreeing with you with a lot of Metal Gear. We woke him up with the key word, Metal Gear Solid.
I know. He's waiting for a Metal Gear episode.
It's his trigger word.
Yeah.
One of many.
True.
The other being apparently Kevin's taller than him. He don't like that.
I'm taller than a lot of people. There's the manager at the Meijer up off the bypass. He is actually like 7 foot, if not 7'2".
I got news for you. That manager's probably not that manager anymore.
No, he's not. But I'm saying, you know who I'm talking about, right?
No.
Oh, well, okay. When I was still living in Indiana, like, yeah, he was the manager there. Let's say 2015, he was there. He was definitely taller than me, like a good few feet, like, golly, or inches, whatever.
I don't go that Meijer, so I don't know.
Well, okay, fine. There was one other girl in my high school that was actually about maybe that much taller than me.
Was it my cousin Katie?
I don't. No, I think her name was Jessica, I think.
I'm joking. My cousin Katie's really tall, though.
Oh.
Not that tall.
How tall is she?
She's like, it's like 6 foot.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty tall. Like,
she's way
You made it
taller
sound like
than
she's
me.
like a giant.
Compared to me.
Sure, I guess.
So, are you two done with your Doom talk?
oh,
I guess.
we can be, I guess.
I don't know. I'm just asking. I don't know if you have another topic to touch on.
I'm pretty sure that's all the Doom material that has been released, as far as I know.
Weren't there
Besides
comics
books.
too?
I think there was a comic. There is a novelization of basically the 93 to 94 era. It's actually not too bad. The first two basically follow Doom 1 and 2, and then and then the third and fourth one are kind of their own thing. They didn't exist then, but they're okay. Chances are, like, if you've read them at this point, you're weird like me. But but it's nothing you're gonna run out like, oh, you should read Doom. Like, no, not really.
It's definitely a niche thing kind of style.
Yeah, it's pretty typical sci-fi, narrative. It's not gonna blow your socks off.
I mean, I read the Resident Evil books and the Metal Gear books, so I'm one of those weirdos. I did. I liked them.
That's fair. It's better than the movies, I hope.
I've read the Halo books, some of them, and those are actually pretty decent. But
I heard the Halo books were really good, but I just never got my hands on one of them.
yeah, I think Fall of Reach, I read that one, and I read one of them that was took place before 4 or 5 or something like that. I'm the weird person that liked the Halo TV show. I thought it was alright. I don't.
I never watched it, but from what I've seen, I'm not sure what to think about that. Honestly,
I still need to watch it.
As far as
I don't have this affinity to Halo in that way, but I'm also that weird person. It's like, if you want to do something different, go for it. I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, if you call it something else, or maybe like a side story, like that'd be fine. Yeah. But like
he took his helmet off, like, oh god.
The helmet always stays on.
Not that big a deal.
No, that's fine. What? Like, if we were to talk about anime and like Trigun or Gungrave, like I could tell you all the stories about those things. but
we're not.
And I'm sure Tavik would jump in on that too. Probably. Anime related, but yeah. So, all right. Anything you want to say before we head on out?
While you guys were talking, I saw that Thief Simulator is finally going to have its shopping mall DLC out this week.
I didn't know they had the first one?
Yeah.
I didn't know they're still making DLC for that one.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's cool. It looks really cool. I'm definitely going to play that.
Okay.
I wasn't distracted or anything.
Trying to keep distracted, you mean?
Yeah.
Just
easily distracted. I'm bored, mostly just distracted. That's all.
I seen you fidgeting over there with many things and paper and
I can't sit still. I can't sit still. And no, I was looking for an emulator, okay?
Okay, that's fair.
I wasn't playing the paperclip. A 3DS emulator?
For what? Snake Eater?
No. Tamagotchi Life?
Isn't there a PC version of that?
No.
No, I thought there was.
I mean, you could just buy a 3DS and then just mod it.
3DSs are getting stupid expensive.
Really?
And the game is $300.
Yeah.
So I should have bought it when it was at Game Crazy.
Something happened with 3DS, and I don't know if it's just in demand kind of thing. Like 3DSs are getting like stupid.
Dang, I just bought one like maybe 6 months ago for someone at work, and I got it for like
I probably didn't.
Less than 200.
Yeah, you got it for cheap.
Yeah. So like you can get the basic 3DSs for about 200 used, but if you want like an XL or the new 3DS, you're gonna spend significantly more.
Jeez, that sucks.
There's just some of those limited edition colors and stuff. They go for like $500.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. I mean, that's normal-ish, but
mine's actually around here somewhere.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, because I've been actually wanting to look for one here soon, but my other one kind of broke. I kind of broke the other one. And yes, it was because I modded it and took it apart and tried to fix it.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Can't help it. I want to fix it. I'm a guy. It's what we do. We fix things.
Sure. On that note.
Anyways, Cory, anything? Any last minute mindsets?
Indiana Jones looks all right.
Oh yeah, that is coming out like tomorrow. Or
Sunday of all days.
That's
Sunday.
That's a weird day, but all right.
Yeah.
Very weird day. Weird flex.
Yeah, that's supposed to be like a first person, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't really like Indiana Jones. I'm not that person, but that game looks all right.
The movies I got into, but the games I didn't.
Yeah. The games from what I understand, that is the one on the Xbox that people like, but like there haven't really been any great games. But it's just like I understand that the last two Indiana Jones movies are pretty bad.
Yeah,
I saw the Crystal Skull. Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm. The one with Shia LaBeouf.
With Shia?
Yeah, like aliens. Him swinging through the forest was something, but I don't. I tried watching those original movies and I'm like they're fine.
They're very gimmicky especially for its time. Like they're quirky, but
I just played Lego Indiana Jones and that told me what the whole thing was about.
Oh, fair.
When in doubt, play Lego.
I do think it's kind of funny that like Microsoft finally releases a super strong game, but they released it too late to qualify for the Game Awards. So.
Yeah, for the Game Awards. Yeah.
That sucks.
There's always next year?
No,
I guess. But there was the weird one where like Smash Brothers came out in like December one year, and so they ended up putting it on the next year's Game Awards, but it's just like nobody cares anymore. I don't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like this year they got freaking DLC in the list as a game of the year. Like, why?
Wukong is the other one. I'm like, I don't think that game is that strong. Like,
I've never played it, but
it's not game of the year. It's not game of the year quality, in my opinion.
I don't remember what the Steam had one on theirs, and I don't remember what I chose for that one. I may have said Silent Hill, but I don't think I did. I know I chose Silent Hill for like the music.
Hill is gold.
If Metaphor ReFantazio doesn't win, then it's rigged. I mean, it is rigged, but it's rigged.
I want to recount.
I do.
You demand a recount.
I demand it.
I demand this. Mwah. So.
Yeah. So that was everything and much more about Doom that I never even knew about. Like, holy cow. The movies, the books. It's good stuff to know. All thanks to our very well knowledgeable guest here tonight, Cory. Thank you very much for stopping by, hanging out with us.
Thanks for letting me take your V card.
And practically just run the show for us for tonight. It
Yeah,
was a
pretty
nice,
much.
easy night for us.
That was a nice change of pace. Usually
Yeah.
it's me doing all the talking.
Well, because you're always choosing the games that you know that I don't. I'm kidding. I'm joking. You are knowledgeable on a lot of the simulators than I am, so.
I'm the simulator queen. Where's my damn crown?
You're not taking my crown. I'm the pretty princess here. You're not taking my crown.
I still want a crown. We've discussed this.
Cory, she needs a crown.
Crown.
She needs a crown.
You get one from me.
I need a crown.
Wow.
Where's Chris?
Actually, that's a good question. Where is he? Yeah, I haven't seen him for a while.
I miss Chris.
The funny thing is, I actually have a crown in my office.
But that's your crown. You can't give that.
That's your
Right.
crown.
That was given to me on my first day. So
Dang.
So I can't take that crown. I need my own crown.
I'm just saying, I think it's
Fine.
funny that I have a crown and you don't.
Actually, that is pretty
you know
funny.
you know what I really want and what I think I actually deserve is I need a plumb bob.
I mean, what is that?
From The Sims,
Don't
it's a
say
little
that.
diamond above their head. It's a
Oh.
plumb bob. I need a plumb bob. I'm gonna buy myself a plumb bob, darn it.
Yeah.
It changes colors for my mood.
Oh, jeez.
It's a mood ring.
So I was gonna say she
No.
needs a mood halo. Well, that's perfect.
Plumb bob.
And on that note, thank you everyone so much for stopping by, hanging out with us, lurking about, chatting with us. Tavik, thank you as always for being our main supporter, hanging out, being a nerd with us. As we nerd
Are we
out,
gonna
and
be
just,
back on?
Huh?
Are we back on Sunday or not?
well, I don't know. Are we gonna be back on Sunday?
I beat challenge mode without you.
I know. That's fair. So if everything goes well, we'll be back on our Twitch channels at, I'm trying to remember what my new name is. The Dapper
The
Nerd
Dapper Nerd.
and ALLIENICOLE22. Go check us out as we play some more Phasmophobia, get chased down by ghosts, and see how many times Allie will kill me with the relics that we find in the house. I swear to God, if you hide that teddy bear one more time, oh dear goodness.
I like the teddy bear. Thank you very much.
I will give you credit. That one time in the blue basket, that was good. I didn't see
You didn't even
that
see
was
it coming.
But,
Or that time I put it in the basket to be yeah, a little bit.
Well,
No,
we
there's
all
this
are.
teddy bear.
Thank you.
For context, the teddy bear giggles like a child, and every time that Kevin sees it in a room, he freaks out that's going to giggle like a child.
So
I hide it in whatever room he's in.
more detail. The ghost basically it plays with the teddy bear, and the teddy bear giggles in the same room that the ghost is in. So there's a chance the teddy bear can giggle. It doesn't happen all the time, but it only happens in the ghost room, which I still hate you for doing that.
I always bring it to the ghost room.
I hate it. I hate it. I there's just Silent Hill 2 ruined that for me. Okay, at Max Payne, it just did.
I like Max Payne.
Oh, I love
I'm
Max
an
Payne.
antagonist.
But when you had to run around in like the black void trying to chase down your kid, and you hear the random little giggles that
little
are creepy
red
as
line
hell.
thing you had to follow.
Yeah, that was creepy as hell. And Silent Hill 2, when you had to go through the little play area in, was it the hotel or the hospital? Yeah, there was a play, or maybe that might have been the other games. Might have been 4.
I think that's 4 you're thinking of.
Either way,
With the doll?
it
weeping
giggled.
dolls?
They
they're the
giggled
weeping dolls.
and made it all creepy. So no, I'm not dealing with that.
They come out of
Resident-
your wall, and the way to avoid that is to not grab the doll from Walter when he gives it to you. You
I
can
didn't
avoid
know
that.
that.
Don't take anything that Walter Sullivan is giving you. Duh.
Sorry.
Yeah, duh.
So anyways, thanks again, everyone. What's up about? Thank you again, Cory, for hanging out with us, being nerds with us, and putting up with our shenanigans. And again, if you want to go check them out at Game Pass or Pass, was it? on every
Game
and
Pass
all.
or Pass or gpop.com.
gpop.com. There you go. So until next time, take care, everyone. Have a great start to your weekend, and I hope you guys have a good weekend. Don't stress out too much. Drink water, please. That means you, Allie. Drink plenty of water.
I don't know
Take
what
care,
water
everyone.
is, bro.